Hold on. Yeah, hold on, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. We are live again. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Who. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Let me throw this on real quick. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. We just hurried up and went live. I didn't want to lose the actual Facebook stream, y'all. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been live. I've been traveling. Just got back from Sierra Leone and Senegal, and we had a great time.
Yeah, you look like you're fun, man. I wish I was there with y'all.
Yeah, we had a great time. We have I brought about 17 people with me, 17, 18 people with me.
Congratulations.
About I think it was maybe 13 got their citizenship. Everybody else just coming to have a good time. So
let me ask you a question about Dynasty. Now, is that the ECOWAS passport that they're getting?
Yeah.
That means they could travel throughout West Africa, right?
Correct.
That's a benefit right there. If you get an ECOWAS passport, and hopefully we can do the same thing in Liberia, ECOWAS passport, and that would be a game changer right there. That's reparations right there in itself. You could travel to Togo. Togo is a country that's untapped in West Africa. Togo has the best port in West Africa, from what I'm hearing. And you got Benin, you got Guinea-Bissau, you got all these countries, Mali, and all these countries in West Africa that's part of ECOWAS. Okay, and so if you could travel to Nigeria and all these countries and everything like that, you don't have to give up your U.S. citizenship and everything, but it's your birthright should be able to travel in Africa. Maybe we could have the same thing with the SADC countries in Southern Africa, and
in fact, shout out to Wally, who's in the chat room. Hey, brother, thank you for supporting. He actually came with me to Sierra Leone.
Right. So I mean, ask you something about the rainy season and things. Does that put an impediment on tourism?
It can, because it depends on where you're at. So like in Nigeria during rainy season, in like Lagos, so like Osun State, what it'll do, it'll rain hard like in the morning for a couple hours, then it'll stop. Right.
Yeah.
Some places like Sierra Leone or Liberia, it'll rain all day.
Right.
So like me personally, I like when it comes to Sierra Leone, when it comes to like Liberia, Senegal isn't as bad, but you can still have that issue where I think you can put a damper to tourism, because like you'll schedule a tour and like you might not be able to go outside or enjoy outdoor activity.
So what do you do?
Because the majority of activities that we do, they're outdoors.
I see
that. Obviously, if it gets rain out for a day.
Because like I said, Virginia Beach is a tourist town, right? And when I worked at the hotels down there, right, they used to have this thing called a sunset, something sunshine clause, whatever. Let's say if you book a hotel for a weekend, it rains, right? You get rained out, they reimburse you. They give you tickets to come back next year. Free room.
Mm-hmm.
That's guaranteed sunshine. So those are things you can't control. As far as like tourism and stuff like that. So that's the challenge of West Africa, the rainy season. That's a huge part of the year. From April to September,
Well, it's like June to like beginning of October.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Liberia starts in April.
Right.
Liberia's rainy season starts in April. Right about now, it's raining. The rainy season. The rains are starting to come. So it's something to know when you start talking about planning tourism and stuff like that. Or visiting the rainy season. But like me, I'm like this, man. If I'm on the African continent, I'll find something inside to do.
Yeah, like what? But there's really not a lot to
do. But
hold
on. But African countries, a lot of places got a lot of these canopies, where you can sit outside, right, and look at the rain, right? You're covered, you're not getting wet, right? But they got out the patios, like the Calabash Club in Liberia. They got that.
But who wants to? But I'm not gonna bring people all the way to Africa to sit under a canopy and look at rain.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's true though. But but you got to improvise. We got to get more indoor stuff going on the continent.
Like I said, everything as far as when you're traveling to the continent, everything is geared more for outdoors. So that's why during rainy season, I just, there's really no point. Depending on the country. Again, that's depending on the country.
Right.
That just depends on the country. But the countries that I primarily operate out of, except for Nigeria, like you could go to Nigeria during so-called rainy season and still get some things done outdoors.
Right.
So it just depends on where you're at. But guys, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you're enjoying your Mother's Day. I called my mom this morning. She's in Sacramento. Make sure she got her gift. And just say hello. Call your mom. Make sure you guys call your mom today. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. So I was in, I was still in Africa when I got the news about Kevin Samuels.
Mm-hmm.
And disagree with him. And this is the problem, Kyla. See, this is the issue I have. I'm going to do another video on this. You got a lot of men and women, but we're gonna focus on some of the women. And women, you're more than welcome to call in. Like, there's this last year, a couple of years ago, there was this hashtag, or that was just being passed around. It wasn't a hashtag, but it was just like, women were passing around this hashtag kind of that was saying, I'm shocked that every woman I've talked to has been sexually abused by a man or molested. But
I remember that.
all the men I know, they never met a man who's molested a woman. And so my thing is like, okay, call them out. Call these men out. Call them out by name.
Right.
Pookie and Ray Ray, they've said all types of degrading stuff about women.
And they get a free pass.
They get record contracts.
Mm-hmm.
But your uncle who allegedly molested you and touched you, who's still allowed to come to Thanksgiving dinner all the time, every year. He's been there 50 straight years at the table. Pookie and Ray Ray, who's been calling all types of bees and hoes, he's cool. But for some reason, Kevin Samuels is the enemy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've never in my life seen so much animosity versus a man who passed away, who you didn't have the same energy for when he was alive.
Right. Yeah, let me tell you something.
Who has passed away, right? Who there's no proof that he's ever physically assaulted a woman, hit a woman, punched a woman, drugged a woman, killed anybody in the community, robbed someone, punched someone, raped someone, molested someone. There's no proof of evidence of that. So dope in our community. There's no proof of that. But for some reason, he is public enemy number one in our community right now. And it bothers me. Like, it bothers me. Like, Pookie and Ray Ray, listen, Pookie and Ray Ray, the Chester child molesters in our community, it seems like they're more protected right now.
Mm-hmm.
And get held and aren't held accountable for what they have done in our communities. But for some reason, Kevin Samuels is the enemy. And was crazy about it is like women took time out of their day to pick up their phone and call into his show. Kevin Samuels didn't force anybody to call into his show. Again, Kevin Samuels did not force any woman to call into his show. Women volunteered and called into his show. Literally volunteered and called into his show. And one thing about Kevin, he was polite, he was nice, but when you got out of hand, he matched your energy. So every example that a lot of these women and men are bringing up in regards to Kevin being rude is when the woman was rude to him. And he just matched it. But when women called in nice and feminine, he was nice and feminine. I mean, well, not feminine, but he was nice.
Exactly.
So that's just, I'm confused. I'm like disappointed, confused, and surprised. Like, there's so many other, I would say, black men and black women who are destroying the community. But Kevin Samuels, he advocated for black men, black women get married. He advocated for men to step their game up. But Kyle, I don't get it. And guys,
Yeah.
hit the like button again, please. Hit the
Has,
like button,
has,
like Brian. Listen, like Brian Cole says in the chat room, and you were saying it, Kyle. Our community just wants the dysfunction. Like this proves that our community just wants dysfunction.
we want dysfunction. There's no doubt in my mind right now. You know what I'm saying? We got an echo.
Okay, let me mute it.
There's no doubt in my mind right now that this Kevin Samuels, the celebratory, the mocking, the joking, and everything. It's like we can't even take a somber moment to be serious about something. Everybody's in the comment section joking, making ad hominem, just silly nonsense with joking and everything. We have grown ass men and women, right, in our community. These are supposed to young people. We can't even sit back and say, you know something? Let's reflect on why were we so triggered about Kevin Samuels? What was he saying that had us so uproar? When you look at Kevin Samuels, he had a suit and tie on, dressed nice, talk polite in a quiet, somber setting. People voluntarily called in with their problems. They called in with their issues. Women called in with their issues and said, "This is what I have, and this is what I have." Why they take the time to do that, right? Because they're battling these emotional things that they're going through, right? They know he's telling the truth. They know he's right, but they call in to see, okay, like this. And then and all the time when you see these women, they're always like either defeated or they say, "Yo, Kevin, you're right," or something like that. Or they'll be just in this whole, well, I'm just gonna do like that. And then Kevin be like, "Okay, we're just gonna die alone," because he gave you a sense of reality. And a lot of women don't like that. You remember something, Dynas, right? Well, how do you get when you remember back in the days when you try to hit on a woman, you rap to her, you tell her what she want to hear, right? Why? So you can get the draws. I'm gonna get the pussy. If you had a good rap and whatnot, you can get the girl and everything, right? And a lot of women, they don't understand something. You keep doing that, next thing you know, you got 6 kids that somebody with a smooth rap had got to you and everything, and now you're bitter. But that's how women are. That's their yin energy, right? They take in stuff, right? They take in, that's negative. They take in, this. Okay, you say the right thing to a woman, you can sing to her, and you got her. It doesn't mean the man, that's not his yin. His yang, his maleness is yang. That means it's every man to try to conquer as many women as possible. It's women to make that one man be satisfied with her and whatnot. That one man be satisfied. That's all she needs. Well, men, even though we got one woman, it takes a woman to keep a man grounded. That's why he said you got to keep yourself in shape. Stuff like this. Men got options. Men can be in their 60s and still attract women. Women can't do that. Women got a time frame. That's just the truth. He said once you turn 18, 19, those are your best years and everything, right? But you got women with this 30, 40 is a new 30, right? 60 is a new 50. No, 60 is 60, right? That's 60 long goddamn years. 50 is still 50, 40 is still 40. Not no 40 is a new 25 and all this kind of stuff. And all this nonsense was going on in a long time. And it's basically created this whole anything goes mentality and just not just in the black community, but just in women in general, because this goes across racial lines. And you see that Kevin Samuels had a huge following in the white community, Asian community, everything. He was saying something that was what's the word I'm looking for? That transcended race. That's another thing they don't talk about. When they talk about Kevin Samuels, they'll say there were white women that called into a show and he put them straight too. And Kevin Samuels was the type that just told it like it was. But it's only one demographic of women that's so angry. Those Asian women, people all over the world listen to Kevin Samuels, his message. But only black women thought they were personally being targeted. So why is that? Why do black women feel that any sort of criticism is an attack on them? Any sort of critique is an attack on them. And that's what the problem we have in our community right now. You know, any sort of attack or critique of the black woman is an attack. You know, you can't talk about weight. You can't talk about women. You know, just basically, you know, throwing themselves out there and everything. This new thing now where black women are on TikTok saying with white guys talking about yes massa, whatever like that, the yes massa challenge, you know, and stuff like that. So, but that's all good. No one talks about that, you know. No one talks about all this nonsense. Everybody's so triggered over Kevin Samuels giving constructive criticism and everything like that. But all the people that degrade black women every day in rap music. I was listening to a rap song with these two clowns with right next to me in a car at a traffic light, right? And I should
hey, Kyle, you always pull up at a stoplight next to two clowns.
It's always I live in an area of deadly clowns. You know, the clowns are all over me. You know, they're everywhere. You know, I had an incident yesterday, right, in the place I get my cigars. The place right next to it is a club right here in the suburb, Virginia. They have a club there, right? I said, "Oh man, don't tell me we got to deal with this." So anyway, they had the parking lot coned off, right? They're coned off because they're getting ready to start some big party. I said to security, "Yo, bro, you got to move your cone." "No, we have a party." I said, "Dude, you're gonna move these cones, or I'm gonna move them for you, right?" All the security guards, like 6 of them, big dudes. I said, "It's gonna be on. You're gonna get these cones out of my friggin' way." You know. So anyway, the guys, one guy's okay. Don't worry, sir. I'll move the cone. I said, "That's what I thought." So I drove in there and whatnot, walked right next to him because of whatever like that. Like, you niggas don't scare me. Clowns don't scare me. Anyway, the music that we listen to, right? The culture that we listen to, right? Death, destruction, violence, kill this nigga, this bitch ain't shit, this, that, and the other thing. That's perfectly all right, you know? That's perfectly all right. Talk about smacking a hoe and all this kind of stuff. Oh, you are perfectly fine, you know? Women go out there. Did you see the? I hate to say this, but did you see the poop challenge in Dubai? You heard about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I talked about that a couple years ago.
But
Women
you don't have
flying to Dubai to get pooped on.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's fine. That's okay. You won't hear any of these women that celebrating Kevin Samuels upset about that. That's fine. They'll justify it. They'll say, "Hey, that's $50,000, boy." You know, they'll say anything. And these same women who get shit on by Arabs, right? Who do all this kind of nonsense, right? Who hoard themselves, make themselves so don't want. Not only do they want black men to not say anything, they don't want any sort of even constructive criticism of themselves. They're out of control. And so, therefore, I believe that Kevin Samuels, his message is because Kevin Samuels only doing what a lot of people, black people and everything, were thinking all along. Kevin Samuels is not new. All he was a vessel to deliver a message. And so when he was alive, so if you think that you celebrating now, his message is he is only a martyr. And the whole thing is this: these females. Now you see this thing with Johnny Depp with Amber Heard. You know,
Kyla, we got to say men too. Some men too.
Yeah. Black men need a role model. You know, you need that father figure. You need that somebody saying, "No, this is the way you should be. This is what." And I think a lot of people were angry at Kevin Samuels because he wore a suit. Had one YouTuber, "I never wore a suit in my life," and whatnot. Just said, "Well, you don't have 1 million subscribers. How about that?" You know. And so, therefore, when we look at Kevin Samuels, say, "Yeah, that's this guy's on point." There's things I listen to and things like that. You got black men on YouTube hating on him and everything. What about his message? What about his stuff like that? Can we get behind that message? But now everybody wants to say, "Yeah, he has some good points," but you were trying to tear him down while he was alive. What is it about black people when somebody died, you want to deify them and whatnot, you know? Don't talk to me when I'm dead, man. Listen to me when I'm alive, you know? Everybody else goes, "I got to go to the ancestors." Man, the ancestors ain't hearing your dumb, dusty ass, you know? Start talking to the Negroes that are the people that's alive. Colorism is alive right now. Diane Samir is alive. Bomani Tyehimba is alive. Brandon's alive. All these people are alive. Listen to us now, you know? Don't tell me, when you die, "Oh, yeah, Collar, we pour some libations for Collar." Yeah. Nigga, get the hell out of here. You know? Support the man when he's alive, you know, while he's alive, while you have him. Get behind his message and everything. Don't wait till somebody dies and something. Next thing you know, we were tight and whatnot. All this phony stuff. I realize now, and I hate to say this, right? Black America has become a citadel for evil, right? For evil. Let me say a citadel for evil. Now get this. Let me ask you this question, Diane. I said this on my radio show the other night, right? Would Clive Davis and Jimmy Iovine, all these Jews and everything, let some Jewish rapper get out there and sing "My kike ho, my kike yenta"?
Hey, we gotta be careful. We gotta.
Oh yeah,
We gotta be careful. But no other group of people will allow their entertainers to use derogatory words against their own, the way we allow Black people to say the N-word. You're right. I understand what you're saying. You're right. Yeah.
Right. And also the way we misogynize our women, right? You know, hoes, big hoes, money, clothes, and hoes, all stuff like this, you know, all the stuff like that. They told, right? They told specific people said they knew when they put this out there in mass production what the reaction would be. They did not care. And we did not care. Why? Because we saw certain people making money. The justification was you're taking kids out of the inner city and you're making a millionaire. So that's the justification. Now our culture is out of control. We see decades later, our culture is out of control, right? And then the destruction of all this, right? You have one man trying to check it and say, look, this is where we're going wrong. This is where we're going wrong. And the women who say they care about women empowerment and stuff like that, I never heard on record, right, until the 90s and everything. I was always in the conscious rap and everything like that. When the gangster rappers came out and started saying bitches, bees and hoes and all stuff like this, you know, I fought against that. I said, you ain't gotta call my sister, you know, I like songs like Bonita Applebaum, you know, it's LaToya, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, you know. I like stuff that celebrated the beauty of my sisters and everything right there. And so therefore the dudes like me, right, we were dismissed. Oh, you lame. Oh, you a player head. You corny back in the days, you know? And so the sisters were supporting the dudes that were
that's a whole nother show. We got to catch up. Is Black America citadel for evil?
It's evil. Bottom line is this. When people want to do evil, right, they come to the Black culture. Why did Kim Kardashian, right? Now I guess she got her money and everything. She moved on. She's doing a white boy now, you know? She's ready to get back in there. But when she was doing her dirt and when people do their evil, they come into our community. When you want to do the worst things that you come into our culture and you mix up our culture. So we accept evil, right, as the norm in our culture. So people, like I said, evil, whether it's abortion. Oh, man. Black women are they're going to make Black women the water carriers for the abortion debate, you know? Black women are not going to have safe abortions and everything. Everything that's evil in the world, they're putting it on our culture. The homosexual, the gay agenda and everything like that, right? They attach that to the Black community and civil rights and everything. Everything evil and dysfunctional comes into the Black community and whatnot, and we embrace it and we run with it, you know? And then when somebody comes along and says, "Look, this is what we need to do to get on our cat," whether it's Bill Cosby or anybody else, right? We basically attack people who's trying to uplift us. People are tearing us down every day. People are degrading us every day. People are putting false things in our head. We support them and everything like that because that's the way we are.
Hey, Thomas, Mike Myers just mentioned something in the chat room. He said it went downhill in 2010. Me and you talked about when Obama got elected in 2008, which is 2 years apart, where stuff just started changing. Yeah. You know, we're gonna get back onto the Kevin Samuels topic, but because this question right here might be for the next show, but what exactly happened between 2008 and 2010? Because like I said, like me and you talked about this before, 2008, something happened, and Mike just said,
I'll tell you what happened. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you exactly what it was, right? Before Obama was running, right, Black people were apolitical. Remember the voter died thing, whatever, that Diddy had there? Black people didn't have a collective politics in America. right? What they did was when Obama came along, right? Black people just saw, oh, we want a black president and everything, not understanding the implications of who this guy was, what he stood for. And I don't think Obama was a bad man. But look at all the stuff that carried, the homosexual agenda, feminists, all these other things, everything. The reality of that, the reality of what this left-wing Marxist ideology is, right? We became this thing. And then we thought that when Obama was in office, that was America changing for the better, right? And then white people who for a few years had started to ignore us, right? And we were just blending into the woodwork, right? Now we have a target on our back. Now they're saying that, okay, we got a black president now. You can't complain about racism anymore, right? And black people say, okay, we got a black family in the White House. We can't complain on racism more, right? And so white people began flexing their little muscle. Like, remember Halle Barber of Mississippi said, black American, African American, they don't mean shit. Y'all got a black man in the White House. And Mitch McConnell said, y'all got your reparations. We got a black man in the White House, So all the stuff that black people basically were, white people were like, okay, we know we have a debt to you. We know we're responsible to you, right? We're going to give you respect here that they always kept their hands off. All bets were off when Obama got in office because they're like, oh, we don't have to maintain all these things that we were talking about before. You got a black man in the White House. We don't have to give you anything anymore. We don't have to do anything like that. You got a black, and then you start seeing things like black shows disappearing, and we're just basically being marginalized more and more in America. And the thing was, white people were like, hey, look, you got a black family in the White House. We're not racist. That was the theme. There's a black family in the White House. America's not racist. So therefore, all those things that white people, for the most part, have worked for decades to try to correct, right? Racism, systemic racism and stuff like that. They were really trying to work on it, right? Because they said it was the right thing to do because they knew they were the ones in power. They had the power, right? But somehow when Barack Obama got in power, right, they felt like they were losing, that they had lost. And now black people are in charge of some stupid reason that they thought black people were in charge. And then what happened, right? Trayvon Martin happened, And Trayvon Martin happened. And then people start saying, how can this happen when you got a black man in the White House? And then from Trayvon Martin to now, it's spiraling out of control. Because it starts spiraling out of control. And it happened under Obama's watch. I don't remember any major police shootings under George Bush or Bill Clinton, whatever. I don't remember that, It started with Obama. All these police shootings and everything, highly publicized police shootings and racial incidents started under Obama. I'm not saying it was Obama's fault, but I do believe that police departments, when they're giving directives, when they're pulling over a black man or whatever like that, you got to be careful because, this could happen. We could have a race, whatever. All that was taken away. Because people thought that we've arrived. We don't need that anymore. We don't need those safeguards in the community anymore as far as dealing with people of minorities, stuff like that. Police, police and job agencies and everything like that, they used to always basically say, look, we have to make sure we got minorities. We got to make sure how we doing with the minority community and everything. But when Barack Obama got elected, all that went away because people thought that, okay, with post-civil rights, Dinesh D'Souza wrote a book called The End of Racism, End of Racism. So in other words, all this idea of Obama being in a post-racial world, that was sold to the masses of people. And what happened was, hey, look, people started letting their guard down and everything. And the country, this is where we are right now. And then now people started to say, look, I don't care if you have a black president and everything. America's still racist. America still owes a debt to black America and everything like that, And white people will say, well, we had a black president. Now it's complicated even more is because now white people are like, hey, look, we're going to basically bring black immigrants over here, right?
Hey, Kyle, let's get back on topic because I just want to kind of right. Ask that question. Let's get back to how people are celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, and my whole thing is this: if you're celebrating the death of somebody, right? You're celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels, right? And I asked a question, right? What exactly are you celebrating? You think his memory and what he said was going to go away? I would guess that if you're celebrating Kevin Samuels' death and everything, either you're triggered by something he said was the truth. You know, and a lot of times, some women will say, "Well, he talked about women's looks." Now, I for one, right? I for one, right, say that men should never talk about women's looks. You know, but at the same time, they called into his show and they put a statement out there, right? They asked for his opinion, and he gave it to them. And I don't think it's polite for a man to judge a woman by her weight, looks, and everything like that, you know, in public and everything. I personally don't. But at the same time, there's women who called to the show. He made the statement. They called the show, and he just says, "Look, you know, you're 35 years old. You know, you have this going for you, and everything like that. You should get a man on your level." But women want to hold out for this ideal man that does not exist. And then his whole thing was, if you don't change or lower your expectations, women refuse to lower their standards. You know, they refuse to do that, right? I got to lower it, but be realistic with their standards. Every woman wants to think they're Beyonce. Every black woman wants to think they're Beyonce, you know, and everything like that. They think they're going to be Beyonce. They're going to get their Jay-Z. They live in a fantasy world where men are more realistic and practical. You know, and so basically, when they call Kevin Samuels and the women just to find, I'm going to find this man. He go like, where are you going to find this man? So if you can't find a man, I'm going to divest. You know, I'm going to go to a white man. If you can't find a black man, you are not going to find a white man. And he said, look, you're not going to do that, right? And then when women hear that, they got angry. And now these same women are celebrating online. They're happy. They're sipping champagne. It's sick. This shows me one thing about Black America, right? And I was thinking about this yesterday, right? We are become evil. We have become evil. We have become evil. We talk about the white man is the devil, right? But yet the people who do the most evil to us look like us, right? The people that sell us dope look like us. The people that friggin' misogynize our women, the people that kill us, the people that lie on us, bear false witness on us look like us, right? But yet we always talk about, oh, the white man's the devil, you know? Right now, I'm saying to myself right now, the response to this brother right here dying by some people and everything shows you that we're wicked and we're evil. And that's why we're not going to get no reparations. We're not going to get no anywhere, everything, because we become what we say that we hate. We say, we get up there with a straight face and say, we're fighting white supremacy. We're fighting against racism. Dr. King talked about fighting evil in our time. Well, what happens when we become the evil? We become the evil. I mean, the Ku Klux Klan wizard David Duke could die tomorrow and black people won't say a word. They won't be celebrating. Guy spent his whole life terrorizing black people and everything like that. They won't say a word. But a black man who gets up there and shows people how to what to do, tell black men, get your game up, get your education, get your money up, get your stuff right. Sister Leia, he wants to build a more perfect union between black men and black women. You hate him. You hate him. You glad that he's dead and whatnot. You try to spread false witness against his name. Talking about he died broke. He died this, that, and the other thing. All this kind of lies that we spread on internet. And then before Gaspar gets up, let me say this, right? You got people on the friggin' social media, right? And you guys got on social media got to get a life, right? Every day I'm seeing this one going at this one tearing down this one jealous of this one pocket watching, this one super chats, this one basically talking about this one. You got black men who act like freaking little girls and whatnot, you know, bickering back and forth online. The white man took your dominoes, your checkers. He used to give you checkers, dominoes, and crap games to play on the streets and whatnot. Now he gives you a YouTube channel, so you're doing the goddamn same thing, playing with super chats and algorithms and likes and everything like that, going at each other over friggin' nothing, right? Nothing productive being happening. You say what you want about Kevin Samuels. The guy was giving you something productive, you know, a positive view of life and everything. And he's the first person with a legitimate million subscribers, right? Making millions off his YouTube channel, YouTube stream, had all kinds of businesses and everything like that. A self-made man, you know? So all you people sitting there laughing and giggling and cackling and everything like that, understand, it could be somebody that you love The universe has a way of balancing things out. Be careful. It might be somebody you love that might meet an untimely death because of what you put out there in the universe.
Go ahead, gas them up. Go ahead. First of all, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button that's coming to the chat room. Once again, please hit the like button. Frenchie XO, send me a Frenchie, or if you're in Cameroon, Frenchie XO, I'll come to Cameroon in August when I leave Nigeria. It's right there. But do me a favor, Frenchie. Hit me up, hello@downflow.africa or who@searchforwho.com. Because don't be inviting me to Cameroon and you're not going to be there, Frenchie, to show me around. So send me email, who@searchforwho.com or hello@downflow.africa, and I'll come in August. No problem. Go ahead and gas them up.
My African brother, how are you enjoying Africa?
Actually, I'm in the west end of Atlanta right now.
Oh, you got back?
Hey, came back yesterday morning. It's still jet lag. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, man. Look, man. Unfortunately, may he rest in peace. I didn't always agree with everything Kevin said, but I think overall his message made sense. In terms of black families. But is it fair for me to say that it's mostly women celebrating this guy's demise?
This dude's
Mostly black women.
There's men too.
No. Well, it's mostly women. But there are a lot.
I mean, I
of
saw a couple black dudes say some nonsense, but it's mostly women, right?
I would say this: the men who are celebrated are on the alphabet side that I'm starting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I understand.
Whenever I see a man celebrating it, I will go to his profile. He got rainbow flags, everything. So
yeah. I mean, look, man. Look, I'll say this: it may not be popular, right? In America, from my observations, what this Babylon has done to especially to the minds of black women, like I was on a platform and we were talking about the Somali war, right? And how, and I was bigging up the Somali women when Mogadishu fell. They didn't run into the arms of the white soldiers. They said, hell no, you killed our sons, you killed our fathers. They grabbed them AKs and started busting back, right? And because they understand that an attack on my man, an attack on my son is an attack on me and my lineage. Black women in America, again, it's not popular. I know they're going to write nonsense in the chat, but who cares? Black women in America have to understand an attack on black men is an attack on you. And it's like no one wants to give them that. I mean, isn't this lady Cynthia G talking about black boy babies? No one's canceling her. No one's saying she shouldn't talk. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just crazy that black women in America don't realize if the black man is attacked, this is an attack on you, is attacking your lineage. But they don't care because they have the state. The Western state has basically come in to replace the black man with welfare, with all type of government policies such as affirmative action. So this goes across whether it's the low income side, if you're on so-called welfare, or if you're in the middle class and you're getting, affirmative action policies, because hiring a black woman is a double minority, right? She's a woman and she's black. So you can cross all, you satisfy every prerequisite. So Kevin Samuels ultimately, go ahead.
Not necessarily. White women are the biggest. When it comes
they're the biggest benefactors. But what I'm saying is, like, if you want the so-called model minority, you grab you a black woman, right? You look at Black Lives Matter compared with the guys who were killed and found in trunks, burned alive, and who's representing Black Lives Matters today is a bunch of women, right? So the men who are like on the front lines, like, hell no, we gonna fight. They end up, may they rest in peace. They end up burned alive in trunks, and these girls, Colin.
Let me say something. There's a new thing going on right now, which Kevin Samuels would have got onto. So he's probably onto, right? Where they're trying to rewrite history. They're trying to erase black men from history. They're saying black women has always carried the community. We've always been like we were just a bunch of deadbeats. Oh, I guess Marcus Garvey was a freaking female. I guess Frederick Douglass was a female. I guess Martin Delaney was a female. I guess the men who sailed to Liberia and built Liberia were all black females and everything. I said, what are you talking about? Well, you had one person, Ida B. Wells, and a couple of other people. But for the most part, and Harriet Tubman, there was another guy who never was talked about history, who freed more slaves than Harriet, like 10 times more slaves than Harriet Tubman, right? This guy died, a wealthy man, a black man, right? And brought them to Canada, right? I forgot the guy's name. He's written out of history. They said, well, why is Harriet Tubman? Because Harriet Tubman was a woman. There was another guy that was in the Underground Railroad, right? A black man who freed way more than and they thought. Harriet Tubman only freed like 300 people. This guy freed thousands, but he's written out of history. And so there's a new thing now where they're basically going around trying to make it seem like black men were doing nothing and everything. The civil rights movement was black women, and black women always carried it. That's white men coming into our community. They would never go to the Japanese and say, the Japanese women have always helped me good. The Chinese women, no. Every other woman like this, you come in here, you talk to my man, you know? That's like when I was a kid, if somebody had an issue, like a mechanic, whatever like that, my mother always said, you talk to my husband. You talk to my man. That's
Kala, I'm gonna say something that I said on another platform. In the next 10 years, mark my words, the word husband, if you say that to a woman, it's going to be equivalent of the F word to a homosexual man.
Oh, yes.
They're going to make husband a slur.
Mm-hmm.
You will not be able to say husband to women, especially black women. If you say, I'm telling you, the way this stuff is going, the next 10 years, you will not be able to say husband to women, especially black women. And what you just said again, like I'm comparing it to the women in Mogadishu, they didn't run into the arms of the American soldiers when they grabbed them guns and said, no, you killing our men. That's an attack on us. Black women in America don't feel that way. I don't know why. I hope they can figure out and realize, like you said, writing out of history, that's an attack on the black lineage, period.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, I don't know. Go ahead, brother.
Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. Yeah, go ahead, Jay Mac. Go ahead.
All right. So about the Kevin Samuels situation, I feel like it just kind of brought to light the war that we've already had, like between black men and black women. Kind of like in society, as to where the things that us black men are trying to communicate, like a lot of black women don't understand that, and the things that black women are trying to communicate, it's like we can't understand it as well. So I just feel like we have to find a way to get to a better language that we can understand each other, because I get it. Us as men, we can keep saying like, oh, we're telling women this. We're telling women this, we're telling them this, we're telling them this, and they're not getting it. But we also forget that you're not speaking to a man, you're speaking to a woman, and she's 99% emotion, and you're 99% logic. So I feel like instead of us just keep saying, oh, they're not getting it, we should just try not to ease it, but just try to find a way that we can, communicate it better to each other.
Let me ask you a question. I think the problem is, right, it's not communicate. I think Kevin Samuels, right, was the first time the message was communicated with black women. A lot of them accepted it, some didn't. Most of the stuff that we have with each other, and we live in a white culture, white America, right? If we had our own nation, right, we was in our own, right, everything would be balanced out. But because black women see us through the prisms of the way white America sees us, right? They see black men as a threat. You see it on 6 o'clock news. You see, I just pull up a thing where 4 black youth were robbed a thing of armory meant for Ukrainians, bulletproof vests, and everything. They all celebrate, right? So all this negativity goes to the black women, and black men are failing, black women are criminals, everything like that. And so if you don't have enough black men in your life, fathers and everything, you believe that stuff. You internalize that stuff. So we're not playing on a fair thing. We basically got social media has allowed a lot of black men to put their images out there, put their views out there. You heard College Genesis for years, Diance for years, everybody else for years, everything. So you understand that there's black men who think a certain way. We're not all hipping and hopping and boogieing and bopping and getting my shizzle, my nizzle, and all this kind of stuff like this. There's black men in this world that have something to say about the world. And there's another thing what we people understand. There's this thing called one guy on YouTube uses this for black authority. In other words, the black man has authority in this world, right? We used to have authority over our communities, right?
Right.
And what the rejection of Kevin Samuels is a rejection of the black male authority. We rather listen to the white man. We listen to this than listen to a black man. A black man tells you, this is the way we want our community. This is what we want you to do. This is your responsibility. If you do this, you'll do this. The women that follow Kevin Samuels said, you know, my marriage worked out. I'm married now. I'm happy. The bitter ones are the ones that say, listen to this very carefully, right? The ones that hate Kevin Samuels, right, are the women who think they're gonna run shit in Black America. They think they have they vested interest in seeing Black men down. They like these beta males, these simps, these stupid cuckolds and whatnot that they always follow them online and agree with everything they say and everything. And then when you have a real man like Kevin Samuels, right, or a Bill Cosby, or any sort of real man, or not, they don't want it, right? They don't want it. Umar Johnson couldn't do what Kevin Samuels did. Why? Because Umar Johnson's audience was the very same women who's fucking up our community in the first place. He don't want to hold them accountable. All he wants to do is dick police Black men and whatnot, you know, and don't hold the women accountable. Kevin Samuels like, hey, look, you know, we could both could win. You know, this was Black men. He spent the first few years of his career talking about Black men. This is what you need to do. I remember Kevin Samuels like, you know, man, if you don't have these type of shoes, man, what's to say about it? I thought about it. So damn, man, at my age, you know, I should be, you know, shopping at a better store. I mean, he hurt my feelings when he said that, you know. Right. Kevin Samuels, I was angry. First, I was like, man, fuck that bitch ass thing. Then I thought about, you know, something. Maybe I do need to change. You know, maybe let me get some better dress shoes. Let me. Yeah, he goes. He said, look how a man's shoes, how he keeps himself. You know, and a lot of times people follow Kevin Samuels said, yo, if you don't have a suit once in a while, go someplace once in a while like that, and little things he said, right? Back in the days, Black men used to do this. True. You look at how Black men dress. Even the wino in Harlem back in the days would have a suit, a nice hat on, and stuff like that. Now everything just falling apart. The way we dress, women coming out in public in their bonnets and their thing. There was a sign on a door I saw where it says no bonnets or bathrobes, whatever. Women, I saw women the other day. You know, I was in Wawa. I was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this woman, this girl out there, what do you think? This is cute? Had her pajamas on.
Well, so look. Like, I have a question though. So we know we have certain deficits in our community, like, you know, with the youths and some women. But what I'm trying to say is there a way that we can kind of like get to them? Because like if somebody feels like you're not on their side, because us as men, we know we want to help the women. But how do we get to the point where they can see, okay, these guys aren't just trying to like police us? Like how do we get them to see? Well, this is trying to take over
my personal opinion, right? They have to see more Black men who are winning, saying, "Yeah, this is the way we want our community to go." Right? If more Black men on that page, they say, "Well, just a plethora of Black men. He's successful and everything." And next thing you know, when they go out to venues and stuff like that, all successful men, they see them with their wives, their kids, everything, and they basically, and we start shunning these people that are just basically dysfunctional, right? They're gonna get in line. They're gonna be like the next thing you know, you're like, you know something? That dude I've been knowing for a long time, he's a good bro. Let me get with him, man. And next thing you know, they show up that he might have 2 kids, you might have 2 kids. Guess what? They got a new family now, you know? And they're basically doing a Kevin Samuels shuffle, you know? Like, we got the new family, the Black family. There's a song in there somewhere, you know? And why? Because the bottom line is this. When you don't have a society that holds people accountable and shames people, one thing you hated in my family was shame. You know, if you want to do them right and whatnot, every time we have a family gathering function, you always want to come back the next year and say that what you did over the last year. We don't have that in Black America. You know, we're not going around. Only time we see our families during the funeral times. So the bottom line, that Black America, with family based and everything, with peer based and everything, has to come back. You know, there's no other way. You're not gonna build a nation. You're not gonna build anything. We start building real communities and real families back again, and that's what Kevin Samuels, because families is the ultimate check on behavior. You know, that's the ultimate.
Right. Hey, I want Sister Lewis. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Sister Lewis.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? So you told me I'm Help Ziva in the comments.
Yes. I told you to call in because you said that Black men are using.
Well, I'm sorry. I just heard Mr. Genesis speaking, and I thought so correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard him say that black women see black men through the eyes of America or white
Yeah.
America.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so my question or my response was, do black men not see black women the same way? And I'm just tuning in, so I'm just
Okay. I will tell you this. Yes. In many ways too,
okay.
because black men, right, for the most part, right, what do black men like? I hate this shit. They like light-skinned girls,
Yeah.
stuff like that. We're colorists. We like light-skinned girls we
With
sisters.
Yankees. With
Huh?
purple purple and blue Yankees.
Yeah. So, but for the most part, black men, if they got to choose to get married, right? Let me tell you a story, right? Back in the days, right? I'm gonna put my age, but I'm a Gen Xer, right? So like that, right? All my boys, right, with the Norfolk State and North Carolina Central and everything like that, all they talked about was how back in the days there used to be two black communities in the South, right? There was this light-skinned black community and everybody else, right? That's what Beyonce's mother came from and everything, right? The black man who played football were like this. This was a reality, right? They said if you get good grades, everything like that, you're gonna have your choice of what they call red bones and blue ticket, light skinned girls. I said, what? I used to see these kids. I said, all right, she's all right, but what's the? I was saying, what's the big deal? Yeah, how much she gonna be light skinned like that? So black men chose right that we're gonna breed with the light skin and everything. That was a prize in Black America. And if you was a dark-skinned regular sister, you were basically passed over. You couldn't get the husband. So a lot of our dark-skinned sisters are bitter and angry about the system, about the system that they're victims of, And I'm with you on that, It's not just black women, it's black men too. We got to stop this colorism. We got to stop this foolishness that's tearing our community apart, whatnot. We got to start to learn to love our sisters, love them and cherish them and everything. Yo, look. If they're a little overweight, get them a gym membership. Y'all go out together, man. Go out there jogging, That's something you work on,
Oh God.
Yeah, but you gotta listen to College Genesis Wednesday night, the College Nation Radio on DeVille Radio. You can check my podcast on Spotify. Look at my podcast on Spotify, College Nation on Spotify. That's my old podcast. All stuff like all College Genesis stuff, man. You want to hear it raw or wild? College Genesis, get music and the guests and everything. Great. But the whole thing is, we as black men got to stop this nonsense, right? Because, like I said, I hate this, right? I remember when I first moved to Virginia. I see it more in the South than I do in the North,
Mm-hmm.
And I see brothers. I said, man, I see this dark skin girl. She's cute, man. Nice hair, thin. Because I'm like this, man. I love my dark skin sisters, man. You got that body. They're like, brother just said to me, right? This is back in the early 90s, right? He just get a. I go, are you kidding me? That girl's beautiful. She's cute. With that, nah, And then, he's like, that's what I like when some red bone. I'm like, all right, they're both beautiful. But why is it that you want to use the dark skinned sister as a jump off? Maybe just but you want to wife up that light skinned sister, That's the mentality that we have in America that we never dealt with, This mentality of self-hate in Black America. And
all right, let Sister Lewis, you want to respond?
Okay, I mean, I will say as a dark-skinned female, as you can tell, I definitely have experienced, I guess you would call it discrimination from within my own race. But then at the end of the day, I just recognized that was something on someone's ignorance that they had to learn from. And as a woman, it behooved me to make sure that I'm comfortable with how I've been created, the skin that I've been given, and to live in that. And who loves me, they'll love me. And if they don't, that's their problem. And so I see more people who are ignorant or who have a self-hate that they need to deal with that issue. But it's not everyone, because at the end of the day, you love who you love, and you want to embrace whom you want to embrace. It is an issue. Now, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to call it an issue. It's just something that people choose to do now. Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. See, I get that you love who. I don't like that you love who you love stuff. I
was talking about
I don't like that love. I mean, people say that, right? You love who you choose to love.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, the whole thing is this, right? People just love you. You lust after something, right? If you lust after something, right? That's what I love. No, you don't. You lust it. It's something in you that says that you need that person to validate yourself, right? I've seen this before.
Well, I wasn't saying it from that standpoint. When I say you love whom you love, like if you see someone, you develop a conversation with them.
There's people when those people, right, when they love people for the wrong reasons, right? They marry interracially, they marry mixed race people or whatever like that, because that's what they love. They love what they love and everything. And then when it all falls down, this is what Kevin Samuels brought out, right? When it all does not work, right? Those people become bitter at the people that they know they should have been attracted to in the first place, that they rejected in the first place, right? And that men and women do the same thing. You know, you love what you love. What does that say about a woman that says, "Oh, a guy got to make $200,000 a year"? When not, you love who you love. You know,
well,
it's disingenuous.
I think that's superficial. When I say love,
yeah, but
love,
it's the same thing. Everything is superficial. Everything
Let
is superficial.
us finish. All right,
okay. I'm not disagreeing, but it's just like if you have a preference. So I'm a preference. I like dark-skinned men. However, I've had times where I've had a connection and a strong bond with someone who didn't fit what my preference was. And at that time, I chose to love him. So that's what I'm saying. You choose who you want to love. And in regards to Kevin Samuels, I don't dismiss necessarily what he said. I have some issues with how he chose to say certain things, and that in itself can become a problem, because if we're already saying that we're down on each other,
yes,
just his tone.
Finish your statement and then give us an example.
Finish your statement.
Well, I would just say more his tone, like how his tone with how he would, well, you're just this. Like the reality is what he said the other day. I'm a part of the leftover crew. I'm over 35 and I'm not married, but I'm not bitter. And so I had to take what he said, even with how he was saying it, just to be like, hey, some people like leftovers. Just because I'm left over, that don't mean I wasn't cooked with the rest of the dish. It's just that it wasn't enough people to come and partake. But it's okay. When my time comes, my time will come. So again, I'm not taking away from what some of the things he said, more so of his delivery at times. That's all.
Okay, so how should he have worded that once you get a certain age, your value goes down?
But does your value go down after a certain age?
Yeah, it goes down.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well,
the better it goes down, geriatric pregnancy, everything goes down.
Kenny, let me say this, right? Sister, this is the problem, right? We live in a modern world, right? Women and men feel like they got all this time, and the reality is we don't, The clock starts ticking when you turn 21, the clock is ticking. There's like a window of time for you to match up with the best possible man to be the rest of your life, And then now you could, at 35, let me ask you a question, right? There's a couple options you could do, right? And I want to say this in all due respect, due respect. You're a sister. Are you a mother?
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're still single. Well, so you still got a chance. You have no children.
Oh, I know. I could care less when people think that I'm over 35 and I don't have a chance. That's somebody's personal opinion.
I know, but what I'm saying is this though. Now, my whole thing is this though. Are you looking for romance? And then somebody to come sweep you off your feet, or are you being realistic about, okay, I need to be with a husband? Like, I want to figure out where you're at, where you're at. Some women basically think that the guy's going to, and I'm not saying it's any mark on you, beautiful sister and everything. That could well happen, right? But what I'm saying is the clock is ticking. Now, on your way to work every day, right? You stop at 7-Eleven, right?
Say that again?
Do you stop at 7-Eleven on your way to work?
No, I work from home.
Oh, you work from home. Oh, that's another thing. I'm getting my agents, man. I'm getting them back to the office, man. I don't like that work from home stuff. People are unproductive. They ain't working. They got to get back to the office. They ain't working. Anyway, that's another story. The bottom line is, in your day, right, whether it's your FedEx guy and everything, you're meeting men on a basis, right?
Okay.
Blue collar men, right? And I know physically there's some guys in shape and everything like that, right? And you have options. Women pick and choose, right? But but the man that you think that is going to be your man, right? You have not found him yet.
I agree.
Now I'm not saying. Now, listen. Hear me out, sister. Hear me out, right? I know we got preferences and everything, right?
Okay.
But that UPS guy could have a heart of gold. That FedEx guy can have a heart of gold. That guy working at 7-Eleven can have a heart of gold. You know.
But it's the assumption that you think that the UPS guy and the FedEx guy is being overlooked, and I think that becomes a problem.
No, but I know, but women say that they don't have find a man, and men they're stepping over them all the time.
Sorry, guys.
And that's the
Can
truth.
I come in here a little
That.
bit?
You see them every day.
Go ahead, Kenny.
You see what I'm trying to say, Dennis?
No, but Kenny, 1 second. But sister, you said that it isn't like women are overlooking the UPS and FedEx guy, but every woman that damn near calling the Kevin Samuels show, they wanted a guy to make 6 figures.
Yeah,
they ain't making 6 figures. But go ahead, Kenny.
Dennis, do you mind me if I come in, please, just for 2 seconds?
Kenny, take your time. Kenny. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
All right. Do you see the brother, the Carla Genesis? The dude has been so polite, trying to cuddle to the lady's feelings, and we getting nowhere. This is why most people hate Kevin Samuels, because the dude was blunt and honest. The dude was blunt and honest. Most people didn't like that. This is a conversation that most people are afraid to speak on. If a woman gets beyond the age of 35, she's old and gone. Geriatric pregnancy, so many issues. I'm not saying that she's dead and gone. She has chances, but the chances are very low. This is reality. But the problem with the Black community is this: we are coddling to the woman's feelings, and no society has ever gone past anything with a woman's feeling.
True.
The world is run patriarchy. This is not hatred. This is not sexist. This is just reality. The world is run with patriarchy. It's not matriarchy. That is why everywhere we as Black people are, is always something wrong, because we always let the woman lead.
Whoa.
This is why most people hate Kevin Samuels. Take a look, man. Look at Africa. You're in Nigeria now, my brother. In America, the same. If you let the woman lead, the world is going to crumble. This is just reality. It's not in their place to lead. It's in their place to follow a man. That is reality. Now it has come to the position where if you are telling the truth, you become the villain. That is why most people don't like Kevin Samuels now.
Wow.
This is just reality, my brother.
Okay. Andres, go ahead, Andres.
Hi, everybody. Man, I'm listening to what I'm hearing, and one thing. Yeah, okay. If men lead, women will follow. You don't have to talk about leading. You just lead. You don't have to talk about it. No matter what anybody says, you lead. Women, people follow. So if you're not leading, then people are not going to follow. You can't. It's not something you talk about. It's something that you do to lead. So no matter what you say, it means nothing. It only means something when you lead. That's leading, not talking about it. Number one.
Yeah.
The problem, I think, I agree with Sister Lewis. The problem is how you say things. That is important. You don't talk to women the way you talk to freaking men.
But Andres, if I can interject, sorry, brother, if I can interject. Okay. The issue is, if you say anything, for the most part, that you criticize women, it don't matter how you say it, it's going to be a problem.
But when women do it to men, it's not a problem.
Wait, can I say something?
As a man, it shouldn't be. This is the thing. Like, men shouldn't worry about what you say. That's not manly to worry about. Oh, she said this about me, like a bitch. I'm sorry about that. To worry about what people say about you. What do you care about what people? It's what you do. So whatever they this is the thing that I have a problem with a lot of these new age men that talk to women like they're freaking men. Coño, man, you're not supposed to be talking to women in that way. That's the problem I have. Maybe a lot of what he said was correct, but you don't put women down. You don't put your own women down like that and put them out there as a public display for people to ridicule, man.
But Andres, you have okay. This is the problem.
Andre, but you gotta say
hold on,
something.
Caller. Hold on, Caller. But Caller, like Caller said, this is the problem. The women picked up their phones, dialed in, and called in. And then another thing too, Andre, is like for the most part, like 90% of the time, when Kevin was rude in quotation marks, he was matching the energy of the women. And I'm just sorry. I just think as men, we just can't take. I'm not taking the disrespect no more. Like our men are a lot of men say we're not taking the disrespect no more, well, and just being rude and irate. So,
I agree.
Wait, I have a question, Andre.
Oh,
no. But I want to hear Sister Lewis real quick. Go ahead, Sister Lewis. I'll mute yourself, Sister Lewis. I think she's muted. I think she's busy. All right, what's the question, J-Mac?
All right, so look, we have women that kind of want extreme results when it comes to men, right? 200K up, like extreme standards. So when they go to Kevin Samuels and they ask and they say, I want this and I want that, is it Kevin Samuels' fault that he's telling them that since they want extreme results in men, those men also want extreme standards in them? It's not like women were going and saying, oh, I'm just looking for a man, and Kevin Samuels was like, oh, you're this, you're fat, they want extreme type of men. So the expectations those men have are extreme as well. But I agree with you. Like the way he said it, it's a lot of women just not gonna get it. And I feel like that's what I was saying too. Like we have a lot of things we want to say, but we're just gonna keep getting more angry and angrier because the message is just not gonna translate because women just don't process things like that. So we have to find a way that we can get a message across to them, or we're gonna just keep complaining.
I'm not gonna do J-Mac. I'm not gonna do tip for tat, but Andre, let me ask you a question, right? Mm-hmm. I have never heard Kevin Samuels say we should abort all black women, right? If you abort a black man, abort after birth, that's what Cynthia G says, and it's widely accepted. Paris Milan, all these women are talking about aborting black male babies, and stuff like that. I've never heard Kevin Samuels say he's giving control. His tone may be a little harsh and everything, but they are actually calling for the genocide of black males being born. That's the truth.
Okay, so maybe I'm sexist. I don't know, but
yeah, it is a problem because the bottom line is going into a lot of females' heads, and they're acting on this stuff. So it is a problem in our community.
What I'm saying is, as a man, I don't listen to a woman can say. Women are emotional; they'll say whatever because they're angry. What do you care about?
An emotional woman will tell a cop that you hit her, my brother. You're going to go to jail for it.
I disagree with that, right? Because women nowadays, women are in positions of power nowadays, right? And they can act on their emotions. So you better start checking this stuff,
So then that's a problem of ours. If
no, it's a problem of ours. This is the world we decide to live in.
Black women have more power than black men, that's our problem. That's not their problem. It's our problem.
Hold on. The bottom line, that's why right here, the majority of black men deal with this every day. We don't say nothing, right? But you have one black man that was on the television, him with a couple other people that were on there saying, this is what's going on, right? This was going on and whatnot. And people supported that, right? And that's why he got the Kevin Samuels was Kevin Samuels. Because the majority of us don't know what to do. We don't want to seem like we're attacking. We don't want to attack women. We don't want to talk like that. I don't argue women back and forth and everything. But there's a problem. And like I told this sister before, there's unrealistic expectations. There's a lot of women, by the time they're 35, 36, they've been to like 3 different 4 baby fathers. They're bitter, they're angry, and everything like that. They're getting on social media and they're gathering up this storm of resentment, everything like this, and it's tearing our community apart.
Now that I agree with you on that.
Can I say one thing?
Andre is basically trying to be a cake for these women, whatnot.
What cake for the women, bro? I just think it's unmanly. I think it's
Genesis. Let me ask Andre a question. Just one question.
Andres, doing this.
Hold on, caller. Okay. Let Kenny go, and then we want Sister Lewis to chime in because Sister Lewis was somewhat agreeing with the caller. Go ahead, Kenny.
Andres, if you are talking about Kevin Samuels, yeah, Kevin Samuels was not just talking to only black women. He spoke to white women. He spoke to Hispanic women. When he died, how many Hispanic women did you see that were so excited that he died? How many white women did you see? Wait. I know you're about to go off. Just 1 second. How many white women did you see that were excited that he died? Have you ever heard of Jordan Peterson? Jordan Peterson speaks to white women like shit, but you never hear them so excited if anything goes wrong with a man. Bro, trust and believe me. There's a thing I realized about we black people. We are not problem-solving people. We are problem-avoiding people. When there's a problem, we don't want to solve it.
Kenny, I need you to repeat that again. Kenny, that's a whole separate show. Kenny, repeat what you just said. People need to hear that.
Yeah.
Can I finish, please? If you give me 2 seconds, I'll be done. Just 2 seconds, I'll be done. Kevin Samuels opened doors.
You'll break it up.
So many things most people were so scared to talk about, my brother. To so many things people were scared to talk about. Do you know? I ask you this. The downfall of the black community was very simple. The women put welfare over the love of the family. I'm telling you now, most women, we have 5 kids for 5 different men because they are getting paid from the government. They don't care about the fathers. They see men as disposable items now because the government is paying for this. They don't really care. Some women will even have kids for a man they know already have kids already because they don't care. They get paid. If you are in the position to, maybe you are a CEO of a company, are you going to leave that position for a cleaner? Never. The problem is most times the black women are getting paid to misbehave. So you think they're going to leave that position because they are going to be in love with you? It's not going to happen. That is why most people were afraid. Most women don't like Kevin Samuels. The things that most people didn't want to talk about, things that most people swept under the rug, dude spoke on it. And the audacity, that is where the hatred came from. The audacity he had to speak on these things. The audacity. How come a black man is able to say this? You don't see other races that are happy that he died. No, it's just only the black women that are happy. Let's be realistic here, man. We can't keep cutting corners. We cut corners. That is the problem we are having now. I'm Nigerian. Do you know the reason why I'm so interested in issues like this? Because we Nigerians, we see you Americans. What you guys do there, that's what we copy. Majority of our women here, they started this feminist nonsense already. And it's shit. I'm not having it.
But wait a minute. Hold on.
This is the truth, man. I'm telling you, I'm Nigerian. I'm being honest.
But King, let's Sister Lewis. Go ahead, Sister Lewis. Go ahead and go.
Okay, yes, I'm gonna say this so I can log off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I agree with Genesis when he was saying, you know, women are bitter, and there is a rise of feminism, being a feminist that's going that I do not support. I am definitely very traditional. I do believe that men should lead, being the heads of the households. So that's all I wanted to say in that. And again, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So I think that there are times, and I'm pretty sure there were times where he was a little bit more gentle with women in certain areas, because I seen him talk to a man and he said some very, strong and harsh words. Unfortunately, there was a picture that was painted of him as being this cutthroat, going off on women. And there is a reality. If some women did call in, some women did have unrealistic expectations and didn't want to do anything and would sit back and was like, hey, give me this, give me that. And their eyes needed to be open. I am not against that. I will be the first one to, speak on that. But when we see, I guess my other thing is when we see different things happening in society, and the same way that you hear the tone of, encourage the black man, strengthen the black man, that same tone still has to be, especially with some of these women who have been abused by these black men, who have been dismissed by these black men, who have been taken advantage of these same black men. So I think it has to be a just balance. But please, I'm not a feminist. Far from it. Love my black kings, appreciate them, honor them. But you do have to have structure. And I think there's a way in how to do that. And so unfortunately, he was portrayed more as, hey, punch him in the, straight, blunt force. And at times it came across as not caring and not dealing diligently with, the black female. That's it.
Okay, let Docs, go ahead, Docs. Unmute yourself. Go ahead, Docs.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you all hear me? Hey, how you
Yeah, it's
doing,
kind of
Donis?
good. How you doing, bro?
Been watching you for a while, man. Real proud of you. Hey, Kala, everybody else. I just want to say that one thing we have to be aware of, especially influencers, you have to be aware of psychic energy. And you have to understand that a lot of times when you're putting out a certain message, especially a positive message, there are certain negative adverse forces that are going to come against you, you know. And as you know, Kevin had a lot of haters, you know, and a lot of women hated him, you know, and other people. So all of that negative energy, it can bombard you, and you have to learn about and you have to know about what's called psychic self-defense. And the main component of psychic self-defense is just taking care of yourself, you know, being healthy, eating right, making sure your thoughts always stay positive, because how it works is people that are negative and they're sending those negative vibes towards you, it's like induction. It's what's called induction in physics. If you resonate with that vibration, then those thoughts and that energy, it can harm you and it can cause you physical ailments and things of that nature. So you have to be mindful of psychic self-defense. You have to eat right, eat healthily. You have to make sure your thoughts are always positive. You know, pray and meditate and things of that nature. You know, so the way, you know, they say that Kevin died, he had a heart attack. Um, it could have been just a you know, a bombarding of all that just negative energy. You know, and there are actually people who know that they're of the demonic nature, you know, witches and warlocks and things of that nature, who actually intentionally and consciously set out to send negative energy and vibrations towards people like Kevin and other positive influencers. So I just want, you know, all of the YouTube influencers, especially those who have a big audience, to be conscious of that and be aware of that, and, you know, practice, you know, try to eat healthily and meditate, do yoga, things of that nature, and keep your thoughts as pure, as clean, and as positive as possible. So these, you know, these attacks, you know, won't affect you, or not as much. You know, that's all I wanted to basically say.
All right, cool. All right, go ahead, Colin. You got to unmute yourself, Colin.
Okay, sponsored by brother Andre here. Look, it's not about being. Everybody wants to be. I get that, man. You know, I'm always the one defending women, black women, and stuff like that, right? But what I've seen, over the years, right, and I never thought I would side with somebody like Kevin Samuels, right? I'm seeing how because this is why. This is ultimately respecting women, right? I respect the women, real women, right? Let me give a backdrop, right? And I do this with my girl, whatever, like that, right? If you be dismissive over what a woman say, you think, oh, that's cute, whatever, and dismiss what she says, and she's serious, hell has no fury like a woman scorned, right? Black America, African American women, right, have been scorned, right? And there's hell and fury right now because they are not being taken. And also, the worst thing you could do is not take them seriously. Kevin Samuels is taking them seriously. Yes, you have a lot of power. The destruction in our community right now, the dysfunction in our community. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to call you on it, right? We may not agree, but let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. That's all he did, right? Not doing it and saying black women are doing just fine. They have no issues. I'm just going to be a man and take it. And the destruction, because whether you did something to them, it doesn't matter. One man did something to them, all men are bad. That's how women are. Women can hurt us all we want. And so, yeah, as soon as that other woman come out shaking the booty, we right after her. We all forgot her. You know, a woman will hold on to that bitterness, right? Take it to the relationship. And in the age of social media, right, they're spreading that poison and toxic throughout social media, and now they're gathering by the tens of thousands and whatnot, and millions across America, whatnot, with this negative anti-African American, anti-male, anti-patriarchy message that's going on as toxic right now. That's what Kevin Samuels brought to the surface, right? And like, that's not, if your goal is to build relationship, I can help you. This is what you need to do. Tells men, this is what you need to do, right? But if you're so tired, like Cynthia G and Paris Milan, all these other people, they're so far gone, there's nothing that's going to change. Those type of women need to be separated. We need to tell our women, black women, wherever, you need to be separated from those toxic women who have no skin in the game, ability. They don't care about you. And then what they want to do is this. They're telling black women to divest. That means don't try to fix the relationship in the black man community. Don't try to repair everything. Divest. Let's get out. Let's go out of it. That's just trying to tear out. It's an orchestrated conspiracy to tear Black America apart, because we're not going to ever be strong if we're the black male and the black female. They knew that. You take the black woman away from the black man and whatnot, he's finished. We know that. So then we're trying to repair this relationship that's damaged beyond, I don't know, it's so far gone. But that's all we have. It's spreading. It's spreading to Africa too. This it's spreading around the world.
Right.
But
hey guys, hit the like button.
You gotta tell me I'm telling the truth, man. Come on, man. Come on.
It's trying to. That ain't gonna happen. Hey guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. I'm gonna stop that shit at the door. Go ahead, Dogs. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah. I just wanted to say one thing. I don't believe or subscribe to the notion that the majority of black women are celebrating, Kevin's death, his passing. What I believe is that it's a certain cabal at the top that consists of those women who are quote unquote professionals, have PhDs and are making a certain amount of money, a certain income level, because those women, the type of men that those women mostly want and who were what they were holding out for is the type of man that Kevin often described, which is the high value man. And when Kevin would tell them that it's not realistic that they would get one for certain reasons because of their age and, other things that he would outline, it made them angry. They really took umbrage at it, and I think that's mainly who is celebrating his death, and most of those women are the ones who are the ones who are the biggest, media influencers, whether it be YouTube influencers.
Jamie, it's funny you said that, because a lot of our educated sisters are celebrating this man's death. Go ahead to Nigel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, a man is dead, and it's not a happy thing to hear that, and especially somebody as intelligent. He is one of the most intelligent African Americans I've ever heard speak, and yeah, he's very, very incisive in some of his questioning and stuff like that. But personally, the way I look at it is that as much as I saw one of his videos recently, and he was so good the way he was questioning the lady. He wasn't being disrespectful, but I've also seen others where he came across as just being downright condescending and aggressive. And we have to understand, when you are talking to people, sometimes it's how you talk to them too, especially women. It's how you talk to them. And one thing he does too is that he focuses only on one side of the ledger. He doesn't look at the men. And in other words, in the end, he just divides people. He divides both genders. So
to Nigel, that's not true. He focused heavily on men. That's true.
That's what he started in the manosphere. He started on men. But the thing is, he made that one video about the sister. Remember, she was had a pet cleaning business, whatever. And she said, "Look, sister, you're 35. You got a little overbite. You got 2 kids. You're not going to get $100,000 a year, man." That's what put Kevin Samuels on the map. He went viral of that video, right? And then all these women came for him. No. And he corrected them. He's like, he should be given an award for correcting so many sisters. He put them like, look, he said, high value man, what you want. That's surprise, right? He said, this is what the high value men want, And then women start saying, "Well, what about George Lucas? You know, he's a he's a billionaire, fat old white guy with a black woman." That's the exception, you know. But for the
It's
most part,
100%. It's 100% correct to say that high value men, there are certain type of women that they want. It's correct to say that there's a way you say it without telling women to shut up on your panel, kicking them out. And
I don't think so. I know, bro. I don't hear him say it. He was very polite.
I've seen him do that.
When women start getting mouthy with him and said, "Look, I'm gonna cut you off. Get out of here. Get out of here." That's his show. It's entertainment too, you know.
Okay.
That, you know.
So, but if you are openly disrespecting the people that you claim you care about, you don't take your time to even explain. See,
are you kidding me?
No, he was. See, I heard the guy. I heard the guy. The guy shut him up and just kicked him off the panel.
No. 90% of the time, Kevin Samuels matched the same energy that women brought to him. He didn't come like when the women called in. He just didn't start off being disrespectful. When the women start being irate, ignorant, delusional, then that's when he turned to Kevin Samuels. I mean, stop happening.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for all the movies. I cannot speak for all the shows he's done. I can speak for only the ones I've seen. When he starts questioning the women and the women are giving these answers, let's say, yes, it's true. The women may speak out of turn. It's what you do. He will just shut them up and say, "Shut up, I'm talking, let the man talk." You see that kind of way of putting people down doesn't communicate the idea you want to communicate.
To Niger, that sounds very African, what you just said.
No, because people don't only hear what you say, they hear how you say it. Exactly. They don't only hear what you say, they hear how you say it. When you keep just shutting women down publicly, if you do that openly, then other people is free right now to shout at black women. He doesn't understand that there are consequences to that type of behavior, and then you see women on the other side turning against black men.
He didn't know. He never.
Stop it. So you guys should not pretend.
He never shouted. He was just matter of fact, straight to the point. You know, kind of like a assault. You know, and most women can't handle that.
Then?
Most women can't handle that straightforwardness and frankness.
Why do you think people are cross then? If you think he was just being polite, why do you think people are cross? I've told women off to their face, and Brandon has told women off to their face. You don't see them being that cross with Brandon, but he does it in a very technical way.
Brandon doesn't have over 1 million followers. What are you talking about?
It's also, there's a thing called. Let me say this.
Oh my God!
Come on. I'm not. See,
I can't.
There's this thing.
Like I like to hear different.
Can I ask a question?
I can't take. I'm still kind of jet lagged.
But Dennis, let me make this.
Hold on, Colin. Hold on. I'm still kind of jet lagged.
Dinus, two nights it sounded like he was.
Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, Nigel call back in and with that bullshit tomorrow.
Two nights sounded like he was Nigerian, Dinus.
So look, I'm 22 years old, right? So I'm around a lot.
I can't. But hold on, Andre. Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead.
But I think there's also a generational thing. I think I heard Kyla one time said he's from Harlem. You from Harlem?
My brother's from Harlem. I'm from Queens.
Okay. You grew up like in the 70s, 80s and stuff?
I was 70s, 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s.
Okay, so that we're the same, demographic, same thing. So this is the thing. A lot of what Kevin Samuels says is what Malcolm X said. The thing is that the way Malcolm X said it never came off. This is a generational. The thing is that Kevin Samuels is our age. He's from our generation.
Yeah.
So this is the thing that the way that Kevin Samuels said it doesn't come off the way that Malcolm X. Malcolm X said basically the same thing. Another thing that Malcolm X said is the most unprotected. Who did Malcolm X say was the most?
Right, but let me say something. I got an answer for that.
Let me finish. Who did Malcolm X say was the most unprotected person in the United States?
That was a black woman, but that was back then. But since then, remember that was before Gloria Steinem came along and the feminists, right? And they gave black women all this access to the system. They gave them. I see this documentary where these brothers were like, they were giving black women college degrees and everything like that in the 70s. And the black women said, we should have some say-so. the brother's like, we're gonna leave, and that was a real hurt to the manhood when all these educated sisters be put in control of community centers, everything, and the black man was sort of put out. So therefore, that's not the same black community. That was a patriarchal black community I grew up in the 70s, you know, but in the 80s, you know. But now black women don't need black men to survive anymore. They got the state. In Georgia, they're about to pass a law for giving black women $850 a month, you know, as a supplement. Black women, they're gonna give $850 a supplement a month. Black men get nothing, you know. So the bottom line is this: I understand we want to like this, but the Kevin Samuels was right exactly because not everybody could do what Kevin Samuels did. I think he had the perfect temperament and tone for this thing. This is a really nasty time period we're living in. And also, there's this thing now that people do called virtual signaling and tone policing. You know, tone policing is if you don't like what somebody says, right? You talk about their tone, their delivery, and stuff like this. Now, somebody like Barack Obama, right? He was no different than Donald Trump. There's no difference between Barack Obama and Donald Trump in policy and like that. The difference between Barack Obama and Donald Trump is Barack Obama was a master at speech and tone stuff and getting delivery. It's a science, right? Right. But Trump is just belligerent. Oh yeah, this and people like like this. But they don't understand that when it comes to power and absolute power, like the presidency and everything, those two guys are exactly the same. You go to any president, whether it's Washington, anybody that the presidency of the United States, they all have the same mindset on how to win and make it better and pass it on to the next administration, right? It's just the bottom line is Trump didn't have the etiquette and the tone sculpturing that Barack Obama did. Kevin Samuels, to me, to tell you the truth, right? He's better than I am because I lose my temper on these platforms and stuff like that, right? I think he did good. He let people talk, right? People called in. He let them talk. Me, I'm like some of these stuff that women call and talk about, right? I guess because that's what his job was, and he made a lot of money doing it and everything like that. They would call in with this nonsense and everything. They volunteered to call in. He tell them like that. Sometimes they get heated, and then he cut them off. You know, it's entertainment in the end of the day too, Andre. It's entertainment. You know, it's not like he's not Malcolm X. Malcolm X was not an entertainer. Kevin Samuels is entertainer. You know, it's two different things. Right. You know, but because there should have been more people, not entertainment like Kevin Samuels talking to black women, maybe like in the days of Dr. Alvin Pouzant, remember him, and stuff like that. And we had people like that around in our community. We don't have those people around in our community anymore. You know, and that's why our community's going ahead because everyone's bought off. Everyone's whatever. We used to have Ebony magazine. We used to have Essence magazine. We used to have gathering places where we talk to each other. Essence magazine, Ebony magazine, Jet magazine, right? We had Emerge magazine. We had Black Enterprise magazine. We were once a people, you know? And now it's like everybody's out off doing their own thing, you know? And so everybody's got all these ideas and women going their own way, men going their own way and everything like that. At least with Kevin Samuels, when you look at Kevin Samuels, you realize we're still a people. Because if we wasn't a people, these women wouldn't be called in. So the good thing is, even though these women may disagree with him, it lets me know that they're still thinking about us. They still thinking about us.
Go ahead, Andres. Go ahead, Andres. Go and respond.
You say things that make sense. You know, he's an entertainer, and Malcolm X was real. And Malcolm X was, he was a person, giving his life for a cause. And this guy's an entertainer. What you say, some what you say makes sense. I didn't look at it that way because, like I said, the guy had a lot of influence. The guy, but then again, like I said, it's two different people, two different things, okay.
Everybody get once in a while. The college dances made longer.
You also have to remember something. You also have to remember, Andres, is
I'm gonna put the link chat room again. Please hit the like button again. Hold on, Doc. Guys, hit the like again. Please hit the like button. Shout out to Go Black to Africa chat room. Shout out to Go Black to Africa chat room. Guys, links in the chat room. We'd like to call in. The link is in the chat room. And once again, this is the problem I have, and this is the point that I'm reading some of the comments in the chat room that the women who are anti Kevin Samuels completely miss it. Women when Kevin Samuels will go live, we will pick up their phone, volunteer, and call in. They did that for about 2 straight years when Kevin Samuels was live. Every day, they would call in, volunteer their time, take time out of the day to call in. So I don't understand why people are upset. And you guys were this mad at Jerry Springer and Maury Povich. I mean, women will go on, sisters of other races will go on Jerry Springer and Maury Povich, talk about Kala's he my baby daddy. Kala did this, he my baby daddy. They'll do the DNA test. Kala, you're not the father.
And they run down the whole aisle
every day. Run that. Oh,
yeah.
And
Maury made $200 million doing that. $200 million.
Hold on, Maury Povich and Jerry Springer talking about some Kala, he the father, had his little beautiful baby. See, and listen, ain't
little
look
baby
nothing like Kala.
Yeah.
And the baby look like Andres. Ain't look nothing like Kala. Had a little baby. Yeah, I just love Kala. I met him. Did they come out with that DNA test? Kala Genesis, you are not the father.
I'll be doing the dance, yo. I'm not the father. I'm not the father dance on that. Woo! I'm not the father. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
But y'all mad at Kevin Samuels. Y'all mad at Kevin Samuels.
No, but nobody's like approving of Maury Povich. I mean, that's like exploitation.
He got $200 million, Andre.
Yeah, but Maury Povich is repeated in every country. In every country where there's poverty, you'll see a Maury Povich. You'll see a show with Maury Povich. Of a different Maury Povich is in whatever country it is, it's an exploitation of the poor, because these people go to New York or they go to California, they get the hotel paid for. It's all an acting. It's all like a screenplay. So Maury Povich is just exploitation of the most marginal elements in any society. You see this in Brazil, you see this in Ecuador, you see this in all these countries.
Yeah, but it's the problem. But the problem, Maury Povich and Jerry Springer weren't advocating for black men and black women being married.
They weren't supposed to. That's not their job. They're not allies. They're not friends. They're not, they have no interest. Their interest is to exploit, to gain from black people more money, to extract riches from black people. That's what their job is.
Can I say one thing before? Can I say one thing, then I'll leave? Like, so I feel like, what's the goal that we're trying to get here? Because I kind of agree with Andrew to a certain extent. Are we trying to be right, or are we trying to actually come up with a plan that is effective? Because over the past 2 years,
J Mac, my answer is I'm checked out. I'm all African. I'm here to make money, take care of myself. The Black America's finished.
Yeah, Black America is a wrap, man. We're building that.
So you don't think there's no way we can get it together? There's no way at all?
Let me say something. Let me make a point. Black America blew it. We blew it, right? We were a victim of our own success. Let me give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about, right? Compton, California. Dynasty knows California, right? Compton was a suburb, right? That was supposed to be paradise, You said you didn't want to live in the inner city of Washington, so you got a Compton, you got a Long Beach, all these places like that. What happened? We turned them into war zones, Same thing that happened all throughout Black America, right? We chose a culture of death, destruction, and everything like that, right? Because let me tell you something. Why? Because there was money. Hustle Smart talks about this. Black people got a little bit of money. White man give us a little chance to make some middle class income and everything. So like that. What do we take our money on? Do we invest it? No, we were partying. We were buying drugs. We were buying drugs to sell drugs. We're buying cars. We're buying all this stuff like this. We're buying Rolex watches and everything like that, right? When we were poor, when we had nothing, we were together. We had each other, right? But the moment we got a little, that's why people keep saying we need to buy the buy. It seems like the more money you put in Black America, the worse we get. The more greedy we get, the more covetous we get, the more self-aggrandizing we get. And this is what happens. People don't know their place.
So
And
the only solution
Ella,
is to move
question.
to another community. It's not to
Question,
fix our
question,
community.
question.
Because as somebody that's from Africa, don't people understand everything that happens in Africa? We look at like,
but no, what
Black
I'm saying,
Americans,
Africans don't have the wealth that Black America has, so they don't
No,
have
what
the opportunity.
I'm trying
They
to
haven't
say
put
is
to the
like,
test yet.
what I'm
Kala,
trying to say is Black Americans have the strongest influence. Like I'm from Cameroon. We grew up listening to rap. We grew up listening to 50 Cent.
Yeah,
Tupac.
but J-Mac,
When I went to Africa,
let me
they
know,
know they
J-Mac.
can't
Hold
live that
on.
lifestyle.
No, hold on. Let me know. Hold on. One mic. But the problem, J-Mac, the images that they're putting out now of Black Americans is the negative stereotypes that they're now putting over in Africa. Like I'm watching this boy at the Real Housewives of Lagos, a bunch of skin bleach, bad weaves.
oh my God.
No, that's you guys, J-Mac. That's what you
No
guys
way.
are adopting for Black America. You're adopting dysfunction. They're putting dysfunction out. The
Oh my
dysfunction of
God.
Black America is what is getting
Oh
put
my
out
God.
across the
No.
world to see. The dysfunction. That's what's put out. Not, I'm Legos. There's a stoplight. Oh, a Black American man created the stoplight. Not our inventors. No longer the Cosby Show. Because I mean, if you're African in the 80s or early 90s, you used to watch the Cosby Show. Now they're putting all the dysfunction shit out.
That's fucked up. Oh, that's
They're
horrible.
pushing all
That's horrible.
dysfunction
Oh
in the
man.
media. That's what they're doing. Like
That's horrible,
J-Mac.
bro. That's
I remember
horrible.
listen, J-Mac.
This reality.
When I first started going to
That's
Africa,
reality, brother.
That's horrible, bro. That's the worst thing in the world, bro. That's like that's the most. Yeah, no.
And then let me say this. Brothers. Then when some Africans, right, have a negative image of African Americans after consuming this stuff, we want to talk about like these ADOS FBA people. We want to kick them all out with that. Well, they don't know about us. All they know is the negativity they was getting for decades. So when they come over here and they think of a certain way, get to know them. And like I said, all my African brothers and sisters, man, you are more than welcome to come to Black America. And we need role models. If y'all doing something right, we want to learn from y'all, because our relationship.
So if we
Kala.
understand the major role that we have in influence in Africa, shouldn't we then understand that we can't just abandon because I'm from Africa, but I'm in the Black community. So we have such a major influence on everybody in Africa. Shouldn't we not say like, oh, we're done? Because if we fall, everybody else.
No,
falls.
I'm saying the
African
culture that America allows that is determined to get out there is a negativity. You're not going to see the Pan-African. You're not going to see Dynasty Amir on CNN anytime soon. You're not going to see Search for Haruru on Fox News. They're going to keep putting the negativity out there.
Kala, let me ask you a question.
But Carla, this is how most women are. Like,
hey, let me. Hey, Jay, I just got to ask. Wait, bro. Go ahead,
so you said it's a lost cause, but I see this generation, like Prince's generation. It's a whole different thing. These young guys,
they gave me hope. Prince and
that's the thing.
And Brandon and all, they give me hope.
Exactly,
man. They give me hope.
So it's a whole different thing. So I think like the drug wars and all the crack shit and all that stuff just lost a whole generation. And this generation is, I think, is way ahead of I think our generation.
I give it to them.
They're smart. Right. They're smart. They know all this stuff and it's I'm Cuban, Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? But it's Black America that really is in the lead of all this jive. You know what I mean? And it's this generation that you see now, like these guys. Prince and all these. This generation is a whole different thing, bro.
Yeah.
So so I don't know if it's I know he said it's hopeless, but I don't know because I see a lot of these young guys doing a lot.
My whole thing is like I said, this is the whole thing. It's all about lanes, right? If you follow Prince, Dynasty, and Kala and BAO and Brandon and everything like that, okay, you like that, we can create this thing where we're all networking together. So if let me say, I learned a long time ago. This is how you want to get peace, right? Everybody listen to this, right? Your radio station, right? Someone's putting garbage in your head 24 hours a day. I listen like that. Go ahead. Turn the friggin' that radio station off, right? Get yourself Go to a jazz, listen to a jazz station, listen to oldies rock station, listen to easy listening all day, right? Clear your mind, right? When you pick up a magazine, make sure the magazine you pick up is something you want to read, right? Then when you get home and everything, you're on your podcast or not, turn on the Source for a Huru show. Turn on shows like this and everything like that talk about something, right? Talk about something. And then what you'll feel like you're part of something. We're not alone. Right now, if you go at the reason why people are flipping out the way they are in public right now is because you look at the media. It's all negativity, negative energy and everything. And so you think you have to be like that to survive. You think you got to be gun-toting. You got to be some killer, some sort of goon, and all the stuff like that. You see it every day, you know? And so therefore, when you say, how do I shut yourself out of that? First of all, don't be part of it. Cut ties with people that's part of that. I don't want to be part of you no more, you know? And what are you doing? Well, I got other things to do. I'm going over here to this African museum on Saturday, man. I'm gonna rap with the bros down there. That's gonna kill some more of my time, you know. But be productive more of my time. Hey, I'm gonna go over here to this right here. I'm gonna go there right here. Set your life up so you're distancing yourself from the negativity, you know. And then what happens is you start meeting people of like mind, and next thing you know, your fellowship and everything. And it's not always good because
we got
arguing and everything.
Kala, I want to hear Miriam. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Miriam. Hey, Miriam, you got to unmute yourself. Miriam, unmute yourself. My bad. I want some of the women to call in. I don't want this to be one side. I want some of the women to call in. Please hit the like button. I know Kyle's will leave in about 30 minutes. So I like for some of the women to call in.
Yeah, we want to hear what they got to say. Yeah, where are they, women?
Hey, also congratulations on that successful trip to Sierra Leone, bro. Coño, good stuff, bro. Good stuff. I was excellent.
Thanks, you're muted.
My bad. Go ahead, Colin. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I was saying was to brother here is that we have people out there, right? And what Kevin Samuels did was this. And also, even if you disagree with Kevin Samuels, but can we not agree that Kevin Samuels was positive? I think sometimes we get kind of spoiled, right? I remember a couple of years ago, right, when I first got on social media, right, and when I first got on back in 2006, right, and I started Collar Nation, everything around me was negativity. I'm a gangster, this, guns, everything, drugs, everything. And so I started basically following blogs and everything like that were talking about other things, but this is before black people became political. This was 2 years before Obama. So I was talking about Pan-African and stuff and issues and everything. And people were like, okay, I think that's all dead and everything. I said, no, I think we still got to talk about stuff in our community, right? And then it started growing. And I said to myself, right, people will listen to, and people used to say, when I first got on Blog Talk Radio, nobody's going to listen to that, man. Nobody's going to listen to that, right? People want to hear about Jay-Z and Beyonce. They got all these shows talking about it. I said, no. I said, I want to talk about politics. I want to talk about what's going on in our community. Next thing you know, within like a year, right? Blog Talk Radio, I had the biggest Blog Talk Radio show, you know? Everybody was like coming to me, Collar Nation blog. Look me up on Blog Talk Radio. I still get millions of hits from years later. Bottom line is this. I would talk about positive stuff, right? One night I would talk about investing, like Dynasty Show. One night we talk about this. One night we talk about this. And I did a show. Kevin Samuels, for the most part, he's not talking about killing nobody. He's not talking about murdering nobody. He's not talking about gang banging. Do we understand this? This is a problem in Black America, right? We want to be lukewarm, right? We want to watch the 50 Cent with the Power series and the Snoop Dogg and all this garbage and everything in one hand, and then talk about Black issue. You can't be. If Black people would give that garbage culture up, right? Give this stuff up and say, if all these people knew when they get ready to put out these Black shows like Snowfall You know, they got another one coming out, you know, with that dude, Bokeem Woodbine, you know, and I forgot who else. There's another one playing a drug dealer that went to, I mean, they're giving us drug dealers, death, destruction, and everything as Black culture, right? So when Kevin Samuels, he's not talking about that. At least he's talking about relationships. Can we agree that compared to the other side of it, what they want to talk about how drive-by shooting? Oh, I think somebody's going to play Alpo, what's Martinez in a movie, you know, coming out, you know? There's no endless thing of this. I would rather have Kevin Samuels, look at Kevin Samuels, what he got to say, than all this garbage. Do you understand we're in a war? It ain't till a couple years later say, yeah, damn, we fucked up. Like we look back in the 90s, right? We fucked up, you know? Let me say this. This is going to bring it home. Remember KRS-One had that song back in like 95 about health, wealth, and knowledge of yourself. You're from the Bronx, you know? Health, wealth, knowledge of yourself. But nobody want to hear that anymore because somebody had a song come out. All I care about money, hoes, and money, clothes, and hoes. You know, Andrew, you're muted. You know, and so there was a dueling message. KRS-One had one message, and Puff Daddy, Biggie, and these gangster rappers had another message, right? And the bottom line is, you understand what I'm talking about. The community,
absolutely, bro.
The pressure on the community. They came on this thing called Hot 97 with that garbage Funk Master Flex and Angie Martinez and Wendy Williams in New York, whatnot. You know, they destroyed our culture. You know, they took it.
Absolutely.
If you wasn't riding a Rolls Royce or sleeping in a Parker Meridian, you were nothing. The hip hop scene of the street, like Tribe Called Quest and all these other people, right? Wait, if you weren't in the Marriott and everything like that, you couldn't shoot videos. Nobody wanted to watch the videos. The culture changed. Now, what I'm seeing is this, though. With Kevin Samuels and his type right there, we can actually win this. You know, we can actually win. Because for once in a while, I believe Kevin was on our side, the side of the black man, the real black man of the Black America. You know, the people that hate Kevin Samuels like the fuck shit that's going on. They like multiple baby mamas. They don't think anything wrong with all the fuck shit they do and destructive. They don't think when you leave babies all over the place and you ain't doing this and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do and everything in life and everything, you think it's supposed to be. No one's supposed to say nothing about it. You know, your dirt and all your dirt and everything that the community and the rest of us got to pay for and everything. Your son that's carjacking people and everything like that because you didn't raise him because he doesn't have a father and everything. So I'm lighting the fire today, you know? We got to pay for it. And Kevin Samuels saying, no, that's not the thing. And when your son he didn't do nothing and whatnot, the society failed him. No, you failed him. You failed him when you open your legs and you had that son and whatnot. Instead of saying, look, when that kid is born, a life is born. I'm going to take, my life ends right now and this life begins. I'm gonna do everything I can. If I can't get with his baby father, he's gonna be around his uncles. He's gonna be around his grandfather. He's gonna be around everybody else that's gonna guide him into the way of manhood and stuff like that. And he's gonna stay on the straight and narrow path. But no, you unleash your kids on the world. By the time you're 13, he's too strong for you to hold, and he's on the streets doing all kinds of stuff and everything like that. And you wonder what the hell's going on. And this is your community because the male's not there no more. You know, the men are in the community. You live in a community where the men are home. I remember when I saw the movie Endgame back in 2019, right? Went to the whole family. We all went out to see Endgame, right? Marvel Endgame, right? One thing I love, like they had like 4 theaters just for that, you know, the opening weekend, 4 or 5 theaters, right? In the whole movie theater, 4th Endgame. There were men there, right? I said, I know there's gonna be a bunch of teenagers up there. Like, there were men there, Marines, ex-Marines, everything, fathers with their kids, black, white, everything. And I said to myself right then, back in 2019, I said, this is where America ought to be. There was teenagers there, right? But they weren't acting up. You know how teenagers started getting all like that. There were men, there were grown-ass men there. Men with their fathers. There was no mothers out with their kids. There were grown-ass men with their families and everything like that. Everybody was on the line, orderly. And when men around with that, young guys, they're real quiet, you know? They're waiting to go in the bathroom or not. These are guys, you could tell these guys, these white guys and everything, you could tell these guys got guns in their cars too, you know? The place was packed. There was men walking around, you know? And so when you have men, it was like, wow, it's a beautiful night. Like, everybody's out in the lobby and everything like that, waiting to go to the bathroom, go home in the parking lot. And you see men of all ages, races, everything, black, white, Filipino, and everything. And the bottom line is, it ain't just this these young little beta males running around acting stupid and shit like that. And that's when shit gets out of hand. When men are around, these little beta males and everything, they fall in line, you know. And this is what we're talking about. We need men to build our community back up again. Men to be role models again, you know, before we do anything. Hey, Diane, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring Nigel back on. I'm gonna bring Nigel back on. Go ahead, Nigel. Go ahead.
I think that we have to be a bit more tolerant of alternate views, because this problem will keep increasing if we don't understand that the other side of the equation still need to be balanced. The men set the tone in all communities. Arab men will tell their women wear hijab, they will wear hijab. The Afghan man will tell the women not to go to school, they will not. American white men will say, "Go, my wife can go and work," they will go and work. We in our community, we keep pointing fingers without taking responsibility that we are the ones setting the tone. And if Kevin Samuel, all he does is create people like Cynthia G's and leading to women even divesting even further, that is not helping anybody. I've never had that guy call out any man. I don't know why you say call out men. I've never had him call out men once.
Nigel, all he did was call out men. Like for his first 3 or 4 years, all he did was call men. That's all he did.
I would like to see that because I've never seen it once. Maybe I'm mistaken. I've never seen it once. If he did, then he stopped somewhere along the line and focused on women and started calling women out the way he's doing. Personally, his intelligence is very, very high. You have to give that one to him. I've seen the guy question women and really completely disarm them. Completely. He's had very good shows. That's true. But he also has this other side that we have to call out. Stop it.
To Nigel, it was women who called in show. It was specifically for women to call in. Women called in the show, asked for advice, asked for his opinion. And I mean, it was women that called in. So I mean, like you act like it's forcing the women to call in. Women picked up the phone.
But it's a nice show. The women should call in and air their views. I don't have any problem with women calling or him questioning them harshly. I've seen that happen in a good way. He has the ability to do it properly. The question you have to ask yourself: why does he choose sometimes to just create drama? I think Genesis said that he likes to create, for the views and all the rest of it. But as you're getting the views, but you're also dividing people. Other women are listening to it thinking that, oh, this man would never change. This man will never change. And this is what they will keep doing to us constantly. If you look at all the data, the men are less loyal. Which one? What did I say? I said, if you look at the data, the men are less loyal to their women. We keep saying that the women are the ones triggering all the divorces and all the rest of it. But if you look at it, the men too have responsibility to keep their communities together. But instead of them to do that, they just point fingers and blame the women constantly. All the women are doing. You did it here today. You did it here today yourself. I'm a Nigerian. If I'm a Nigerian and I'm feeling this way, I should tell you something.
You're not talk over me. Okay. All right, so I just can't take it. I can't. Listen. Hold on, listen. Kevin Samuels was advocating for black men and black women to get married.
Right. And he became positive.
Why did you miss that point?
Check this out. Imagine if Kevin Samuel would have morphed into his own film industry and everything, making this sort of movies where they say life imitates art. Life imitates art, right? And Kevin Samuels would have been made movies and films or television series based on what he thinks black family ought to look like. Right now, what you see right now in television entertainment is they don't even do life imitates art. They say life imitates what sells. What sells is black.
No, hold on. We got Mr. Ann on. Hold on. Tonight, it's hard. It's hard to like. We're trying to have like a conversation right now. Now, listen, Andres has differing points from us. He has differing points, but you're just rambling and just. I haven't seen the show before. So you're using limited information to try to build your case against Kevin Samuels. After a while, it's whatever. Go ahead, Ms. Ann.
Well, can you hear me?
He's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I truly miss Kevin Samuels, eh? I'm a woman that support what Kevin Samuel was trying to do, and he has done a lot, you know. And what I find out is I have single friends, I have married friends, females. And what I find out, you know, when I send them videos, all of the married women agree to what Kevin Samuels is saying. And I notice
You know,
my
not to cut you off and let you finish. I want a married. Here we go. Bam. Thank you for bringing that up. Listen, I want a married woman. Again, I want a married woman who's in the chat room to call in and tell me how I disagree with Kevin Samuel. Married woman. All right, go ahead, Miss Ann. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, Kevin kept it real, and you know, these women that call in, most of them, you know, they just want to get to the point where how can I get this high valued man? What Kevin Samuel was trying to say is, you know, come out of this la la land, you know, this high expectation, examine yourself to see who you are, you know, and what's wrong with the average Joe, right? Like, lower your expectations because you have to look within yourself. And it's not like lower your expectations. What's wrong with an average man? You know, and these ladies, they call in. I mean, some of them were so totally unrealistic. Some of them hated men so much. And I can tell you what personally what Kevin did for me. Kevin allowed me to see and understand a man's point of view. I had this resistant, you know, this hard feeling towards men. And at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest, a lot of women going to hate me for this, but men in general are better humans. Better humans. And yeah, that's all I can say.
Thank you for that. You know, thank you for that. I would like to say this. I just think women have yin, yin and yang, right? Women are receptive to what they see, you know, what they see, and so therefore men go out there and they're proactive. They're, they go out there and build and everything. Women just receive what's there. You know, women receive what's there, and so therefore, I think every woman will have that perfect man that they want to dream about and everything. That's every woman's right to pick and choose, right? But what you have now is women who, if they can't get that man that they want, right, they're gonna make that other man's life a living hell because you ain't. I've been in a relationship like that, right? I came to realize, you know, after years, I've been with this woman for like 12 years, and I realized she doesn't love me. Why? Because she loves somebody else. I'm never gonna measure up to that guy that won her heart, you know, or that guy she thinks is the ideal man. You know, I'm not going to measure up to that. So I just had to come to the conclusion this she wasn't for me. And then it was like, oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, I know you always expected me to be there, but I'm not there. I'm good. Now I could have stuck around and been like, you know, like that, but that would have been on me. But Kevin Samuels is telling men that you don't have to do that. You can find your woman, whatever like that. You don't have to take this abuse. You know, we men naturally are protectors. You know, we see women, right, and we want to provide. You got guys out there working 3 jobs to provide, and the women's ungrateful. Women like, that's what you're supposed to do. You've seen it, you know, that's what you're supposed to do. And the guys out there, yeah, well, he think he's gonna do all this and she's gonna love him, appreciate it. But as soon as somebody else comes along and everything, she's out. And you did all that work, and then men are bitter. But the thing about men and women is we have nobody to complain to. Because we're just afraid of, oh, you sucker, you simp. Nobody's gonna put their hand on your shoulder and say, yeah, brother, she did you wrong and everything like that. There's no support system, you know, because you're supposed to just suck it up. And men have this anger in them and bitterness and everything. And then we take that bitterness out on our own brothers. We kill each other in the street because somebody look at us cross-eyed, you know, because we feel like a fool and a clown, a buffoon. But and all of a sudden like that, we feel like we're being mocked and yelled at. That's why all the stuff you see, the violence you see in Black America has to do with women, relationship, and just basic respect. It's not over drugs. Am I telling the truth, Diane? You can't tell me all this violence and everything is about drugs or drug tapes, everything like that. That may be a tipping point, but it's all about the broken down of the black people in America, our love for ourselves and our love for women and our love for each other and everything. All that stuff that used to keep us together and everything, keep us in peace, are gone. Now everybody has a gun. Everybody has a gun, and if you look at somebody the wrong way, your life could end tomorrow. You know, that's just a word of warning. That's where we're at right now in Black America. You know, and what I see with Kevin Samuels, he was going was basically getting to the root of it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's on the mic.
Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle. What's up, Michelle? Go ahead.
Good evening, panel. Thank you for having me on again. I appreciate it. Rest in peace, Mr. Kevin Samuels. He's definitely a controversial person, but he did make us think a lot. And also like to say, I don't think Tunaja was simping per se. I don't like using the word simping because we also need men in our community to look at things another direction. And I understand you may not agree with what he did, but at least allow him to say what he said without calling him a name such as a simp. If we can agree to that, that's one part of our
Michelle, I have Michelle, not to cut you off. I have no clue what Tunaja was trying to say because now I just came on here. He disagreed with the panel, and I understood him clearly. I had no clue what Tunaja was trying to say. And then when he said, you know, he doesn't criticize the men, and there's tons of content of criticizing men. He's like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. It's like, okay, well, I mean, you just debunked yourself. You know, so you come here, you haven't listened to what Kevin Samuels really said, and now you're trying to make an argument. You know, it wasn't making sense. I have no clue what I was talking about. You know,
okay, I definitely respect your point of view on that matter, but he probably didn't have a clear understanding. But the issue I have is people on the panel calling him a simp, and I don't like the words black men being called simps, especially when we're trying to amend a situation. I don't think that's a fair call. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I didn't call him a simp. There's some people.
No, I mean, I think it was people in the panel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think he's a simp. I just think he's misunderstood what's going on.
I work with people out in the community, and I had a young man who was trying to address a situation with a young woman, and they were calling him a simp. And, you know, it carries on to so many things. That's why I think when we use certain terms as a people, we need to be careful how we're using it because we don't know how the long-term effects. And
exactly. What I was saying earlier, Miss Michelle, was the fact that when the men are hurt, right, we have nobody to what we do is we act out, fuck that B, fuck that whole call men simp everything. And we're hurting, you know, there's nobody able to talk to us like, what's wrong with you? I think she did me wrong. And women have a lot of power to hurt men. And men have nobody to go to. When a woman's hurt, what she do? She scratched the guy's car up. She busts out the window. And even the police come on the scene like, what'd you do wrong, bro? You know?
Yes, it's true.
You know what I'm talking about, right? We think it's cute. We think it's cute. You know, fuck you. She skied out the car, busts out his window and everything, and everybody think it's cute. You know? Men, we just got to suck it up and everything. And we hold that in us and next thing you know, we explode. You know? And the violence and everything. So we have to talk about this in our community. Like, why? Because we have an imbalance. Our parents, our past generations didn't have to deal with this, right? Because men always knew they had women to come home to. Now the women are doing their own thing. They got their careers. They're in the gym. They're doing their stuff. They cut cars. They travel and everything. They're vacation. They're doing them. You know, we don't have that. Even your mom is out doing stuff and whatnot. You don't even have your mom to come home to it everymore. Where's mom? Oh, she's gone, man.
I had a mother right now. She's currently on Dubai on a girls trip.
This is what I'm talking about.
And the son got ADHD.
And that doesn't show.
I want to hear the women. I want to hear the women.
But that's a show, though.
Miss Ann, go ahead, Miss Ann. Back Michelle. Go ahead, Miss Ann.
Yeah, you know what, Carla? We have to understand Tunaja. Tunaja is coming from a different culture, right? So he can't understand, you know, so what he's seen is like aggression towards women, right? But in his culture, he doesn't.
Miss Ann, not just Nigerian.
Yes.
But go ahead.
And how do Nigerian women treat their men? Do they treat them like African Americans? How African Americans would, you know, treat their men up in their face. I can beat you down and like do that. Okay, and that's the reason why he's talking that way, because he doesn't understand where you guys are coming from.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the reason why he would react that way, because I mean most can you imagine, okay, if they should run a show like that in Nigeria, which woman, like how many women would call in and saying the things that women in the West would be saying? He needs to, yeah, that's what he needs to look into, because we have, men in the West, they have to be like, I mean, they're being beaten down. It's like, oh my God, it's a fight. So they have to be firm, because we women this side, oh, we are quote unquote strong women, and there's no other culture that has that term strong woman, but we are seen as strong women. So we have to be addressed very strongly, put it that way.
No, you're right. Michelle, you want to add to that, Michelle?
I guess I understand too, not just from Nigeria. There's a different, you got to understand, men and women roles in Nigeria and Africa are still defined and still respected. So he may not come across that experience of what Kevin Samuels experienced. And our experience here in the West as women is totally different in terms of we have to go get it like just as the men do, where back in the motherland, there's some, how should I say, amenities to protect, some buffers for women. We don't have those buffers here. We have to get it like how we have to get it out here. So that's why you see young girls here out there tricking already. Okay? Because I'm, like I said, I work in human services. I see a young girl on Instagram tricking. But she said, I'm just making a little money. Because,
let me ask you a question, Michelle. Now, a black man like me, right? Mm-hmm. Now, you know what my thing be. But the whole thing is, I understand how people would agree with it. But what I don't understand is, in our generation, is I have no right to even say anything about that girl. Oh, you're not her father. You're not her dad. I don't give a damn. Where is the black man going to get authority back over his community?
It's part of the American system that de-emasculated the black men. Because let me tell you something.
That's what I'm talking about.
For example, the reason why R. Kelly got out of control is because if men were put in their proper position, R. Kelly's situation would have happened.
Right.
Yeah. It would have happened. But again, because of de-emasculation, systematically, what they did to our men through drugs, to the prison system,
threat of
unemployment,
unemployment. Yep, they did a job on us.
So now we're in this situation where, why? And then sometimes like I said, the young man I'm telling you who has ADHD and mothers on a girls trip in the Middle East, we're here trying to deal with a child who's having behavior issues. Mom's gone, dad, whatever. He's here. And then, he's already involved with the penal system. I'm sure in a few years, I'm going to get a call. Oh, Miss Michelle, such and such got such and such pregnant. It's going to happen. I mean, I see it coming now. Wouldn't it be better to have a man to come talk to this young man?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they sending him to a woman? See, that's another thing is emasculation. And I recognize it too. Why are they sending him to me? He should be sent to a man to talk to. But again, there's nobody coming into our field because of the complexities of being a man in our field, it's not really respected.
Yeah. Everything. You ever notice that in American culture, not just black men, but white men too, they always making men out to be stupid. When you do commercials, when the father doesn't know how to do this and everything. So, even dad could learn how to do it. They always emasculating men. When they get this idea that women like seeing men emasculated and stuff like that. Women feel good about themselves. Feel like, the women could do it. Women could do it better. Yeah, the guy, she solved the problem. She did this, and everything like that. I'm all for girl power and everything like that, but it's like these people that are trying to make a point that you don't need men and women can run the world without men. and stuff like that. Women are just as strong as men. We can do everything that men can do and everything. You know, and every time I have a female, that's why I cut off. I have no more female friends. You know why? I'm like this. Y'all need to get boyfriends and husbands. Why? My car is flat. Oh, really? You got AAA? You want me to come over there and spend my time to go fix your flat tire? You don't call one of your girlfriends, you know, out, you know, you was hanging out with. You give them all your time, you know. But when it's comes time to do hard work somewhere, and worst thing is when people got to move. I do not like moving furniture. I don't like moving. So I bought my house. I live in here. I'm never going. You know, I don't like moving. People, I got to move. Oh, I'm sure you do. Yeah, I need some big, strong men. Yeah, I hope you can find them. You know, but where's your big, strong sisters at? You know, they all got the mouth and got something to say. You know, and so this is what I'm talking about. The men we are just reduced to peasants in our own community, simps, handymen. You know. And you see these type of people around the community when they always agreeing with everything women say and this and the other thing, clowns, you know. And so therefore, like I said, in real black men, you know, we're gonna go for the bag. We want our community back. We want to be back in there. We know it's a responsibility, but we gotta live by example. You know, we gotta live by example. No man, any man seeing a girl on a young OnlyFans, like you should assert your authority as a man. Say, how dare you? Shut this down. That's not wrong.
Exactly.
You know, prostituting and stuff like that. Get your ass home. Every man should do like that, you know, and the women will respect you. Not because you want to groom her later on. It's that you want to say, look, I want to see you in a decent relationship. I want to see you give your heart and your body to the man you love. You know, we got to get back to that, Black America, and then we'll have a chance. We can't be all out here being Mac Daddy and acting and running the fool and clubbing and everything. We got to get rid of that. That's what Hollywood tells us. That's what music tells us. You know.
This goes back to the point of Roe v. versus Wade. This is the bottom line of it. What Mr. Callis Janice was talking about, Roe v. Wade. Excuse me, because the issue is we can't ignore the facts. 19 million Black children have been aborted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me tell you something. Probably that 19 million, 1 million was because of rape, and I would guess about 1 million was probably due to rape, and maybe the mother's life was in danger or some type of violence occurred for that pregnancy. 19 million. Let that stick in our mind. Okay, trust me, I've worked with women who've had to make that decision, and it's not an easy decision to make. And number two, why do we have to make that decision? No young woman or young girl should have to make that decision. That's why somebody needs to say, get off their Instagram. Leave Ray down the street alone. He's wasting your time. Okay. If we as a community can safely guide our young men and women through relationships, that's how we need to do. Look, I know at one point you're going to be in an intimate relationship. That's natural. That's part of it. But again, if it's not done right, there's consequences. And we really need to talk about that. Thank you.
Right. And Dennis, I got to.
All right. Yeah, go ahead, Colin. We'll let Edward Anderson close out. But Colin, appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Well, hopefully we're on Wednesday night. We're going to do it again. We're going to do more. We're going to fire. You know, so anybody, thank you for having me. Thank you for being on. I'll see you guys on Wednesday night.
Yeah, okay. All right, sure. Go ahead, Edward. Let me just help Edward.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I came in at the tail end, huh? I see you've been on for 2 hours. So I appreciate you having this conversation, Dynas. I appreciate, because this is a conversation that needs to be had. It's unfortunate what happened to Kevin, but I'm gonna say this because I've been on panels with Kevin, back when, and people need to be clear. Kevin was the type of guy that when it came to talking to dudes, it was pretty much, if you're not working 60 hours a week, you really don't have no business saying nothing about women in the first place. And if you need to get a second job, a third job, do that. But see, that always gets lost in translation.
And you know what, Edward, that's my problem with people like 2 Nigel. So 2 Nigel will come in here, make a statement. Oh, well, Kevin Samuels did this. He said that. No, he didn't say that. This is what he said. Oh, well, I didn't hear that part.
Well, it's just that's psychology. People, there's studies with the brain. You're a salesperson. People see what they want to see, hear what they want to hear, and if you're able to guide that, you can do a lot for people. It's just like when you buy a car and you notice all the cars that look like yours. That's well known. Women that say that they're educated should know that, because you have to go through a basic psychology course. My thing is this, Kyla was talking about what we need to get back to. It's easy. I get it. And it's easy to say what you need to do. But the problem is Kevin is a reflection of how much people don't want to have that conversation. And it was a lot of dudes that detracted from Kevin as well, because they didn't like the you need to be a utility aspect, and then you need to be at a certain level to command a certain respect aspect. But people forget about that part. The thing is, I say, when the legacy I think Kevin has is he is a mirror, because most of these people didn't know him personally. Most of these people didn't have a personal thing with him. He was a reflection, and people reacted based on what the mirror they saw. That's true for black men. That's true for black women. That's true for black men in the black manosphere. That's true for the black community as a whole. And in each of those situations, that mirror cracked because people didn't like what they saw, and they wanted him to basically pay for all the sins. This is why people are dedicated to trying to destroy what he tried to do. So I'll say this. The reality is, and this is what y'all need to know, because women tend to want to spin away from it, and some dudes do too, because I don't want to be long-winded, because I know you're trying to close out. Disease.
Hey, Edward, what I want to do, I want to bring two Niger back on, and I'm gonna let you and two Niger talk. I'm gonna let two Niger make his points, and you can respond to him.
Okay,
and,
well, let me say,
because sometimes I think two Niger just being disingenuous.
Yeah, and that's yeah, and let me say this real quick, and then you can definitely do that. Disease are 24 years old. That is a fact. Anybody that disagrees with that, the old disease is being disingenuous. They're 25, 24, 23. In 5 years, they will be 30. That means they will occupy a woman's peak, sexual marketplace value, peak value as far as marriage and all of that, in like that 27, 28, 26 range. Disease are not having the conversations that the millennials are having, that the Xers are having. Disease are seeing, they didn't grow up in the same girl next door situation. I'm 35 that I grew up with as far as the promotion. They saw this stuff from the jump, meaning if you snap YouTube out from existent.
Nigel, what you doing, man? What you doing? You making all types of background noise and shit. What you doing?
Sorry about that. I didn't know my mic was on. Sorry. Go ahead. You want me to say something?
Yeah, if you can mute yourself for a second.
Go ahead and finish your statement.
So disease are not playing this game with you. And another thing women need to understand with that is, you have shown 18-year-olds to 24-year-olds that already, for the most part, aren't really talking to sisters like that. A lot of them were influenced by Kevin. They liked Kevin. They were walking up to Kevin in Atlanta, and some of the people that influenced them, like up and coming rappers and local, were like looking up to him. They see women dancing on this man's death. I do not see enough women. I see some, but I don't see enough women really saying that no matter what you agree or disagree with, that is unacceptable behavior. Also, non-black men that even Swirlers, not saying that's this platform, that want to deal with are seeing that. And a lot of white men like what Kevin had to say too, because Kevin didn't really push race like that. So at the end of the day, it's not going to stop with him, but I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to point that we don't have this endless clock. There is a clock. When the Z's come of age, they're going to make the decision, and I don't think a lot of y'all like what decision they've already decided to make. But anyway.
Go ahead,
Yeah, I think this thing people will say about simping is a way of saying, when you are nice to being reasonable with a woman, you shouldn't do that. You should be mean and stuff like that.
No. There's a difference between being reasonable towards women versus being reasonable to a point where you're disingenuous.
I think it's gone the other way. I get what you are saying, what you are trying to say, but that is not what they are using it as now. See, I've gone back.
I'm sorry. To a point where you're just telling women what they want to hear.
No, I don't. I'm not in the business of that. I just went back, while I was in exile, to check out some of this in back, videos, and he went back years. Even then, even the ones where he
Hey,
actually
hold on 1 second. Hold on one. Hey, O'Shea Du Jackson, we gotta have O'Shea. You can't be in the chat room and not call in, brother, for this one. So O'Shea, I need you to take. I know you busy, O'Shea. I know you tricking right now. I know you being dusty and sandals. You know, typical Del Paso Heights behavior, because that's what y'all do. So O'Shea, if you could take 10 minutes of your time to stop tricking and click on the link in the chat room and call in O'Shea and grace us with your presence, that would be great. All right, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, I saw one of the videos, one of his earliest videos when he called, something about Jordan's something dumb. And even when he was calling black men out, he still, you can tell he was still being a little bit funny about black women. And in that video, he was also talking about black men looking out for other type of women. That's
Okay,
setting
so
themselves up for other
hold
type
on.
of
Let me
women,
let
not
me
black
stop you. Let
women.
me stop you right here. First of all, let's do this. Let's take Kevin, because it's the problem is people like to lean on the person. Let's remove Kevin from the situation, because Kevin was not the first person, to say this conversation. And I can bring up certain people like Jason Black. Let me tell you something. Kevin, you all have not heard brutal or harsh. Like I will challenge any of you all people to go listen to a guy by the name of Jason Black. Jason Black is unapologetically pro-black. He is date black women only. There is no exceptions. He has raised money. He has wrote documentaries. He does not like Kevin, by the way, at all. And I would challenge you all, go listen to him. And then you all will understand the gateway of what actual brutally honest is. Because when you all talk about Kevin, understand Kevin was the diplomat. Kevin was not what a lot of us really think and how a lot of us really go about this. That's first thing. Second thing is, sir, you sound like you have an accent. This is obviously Bro Lord Cutnote was another one too. That y'all want to hear a woman get brutal with y'all? Go talk to her. And she's more of an intercultural date black men of all cultures. This is Pan African's platform stuff. And I say that, sir, to say this. Let me tell you this, sir. I don't know where you're from. It doesn't matter. African American men are the most egalitarian black men in the diaspora. That is also a fact. We are the most reasonable with our women than any other group. That includes Caribbeans, that includes Haitians, that includes all of them. There is no ethnic group that you can propose that is less heavy, that is more heavy, that is more reasonable than African American men. There are things that we tolerate that you all can't even cognitively think about tolerating from a woman. That's across the board. So our women have more mobile of freedom, and there's dynamics to that. And I'm just saying, so when you're trying to critique me as an African American about what we deal with our women, what I need you to do is show me where you all are putting up with the same kind of stuff, whether it's where you're from or show me anyone. Because you keep on making it about Kevin. Understand something. Kevin was a voice. He Dynast O'Shea, he was a voice that he got a lot of traction. But understand a lot, because there's things where he shouted me out personally. Because I'm going to tell you where I'm at, and I'm not going to go on rant because I want you to respond. This is where I am. Because I know there was one chick talking about we had to work. No, you didn't. That's a lie. I don't want to hear that. Where I am right now is if black women cannot find a black man, cool. If black men, African American men are basically subpar, cool. I'm not here to argue that. What I'm here to say is who you gonna get. Because I told even black men that want to still keep it black, you can interculturally date. And for anybody,
Edward, not to cut you off. I've said this before. You have a lot of these divest platforms that are trying to convince our sisters that they're gonna out white women for the white men.
well, even Crystal and Karasin quit on them, and that was what her life's mission was, and she did that for 8 years. Because she told on herself. That's the clip. If y'all want to find a clip, that's the one I want to find. When Crystal and Karasin called into Kevin and she snitched. That was the biggest snitch, and we didn't even know that in the space when she said that you can't even get sister to lose weight for white men. That's something that in our space we did not know. I will say this. My thing that I will tell sisters here is you have a beautiful diaspora of black people And Diners, you've done videos about this. Black men in the diaspora. If you can't find a black man that's worthy, then find another a black man across the aisle. If you cannot do that, then black men are not keeping you from dating out. Date out.
Hey, Edward, I got crucified for it too. How dare you tell us these are the men to go date non-FBA ADOS or women?
Oh no, well, I'm talking about black women. No, I get it. Yeah, that's why.
What I'm saying that
when you do the women to do it, they don't say nothing.
Right, exactly. So when I told black men to start looking outside of America for women, I got crucified. Now there's all types of sisters in this space that are telling black women to go date African men, and I'm all for it. But when I told black men to go date African sisters, oh man, I got crucified. But now you got a lot of black women telling other black women to go date African men.
And I've understood.
When I told black men to go date African women, I got crucified.
And by the way,
you got black women who are telling other black women here in America to go date African men. It's no problem.
Yeah,
but I don't care. It's all good.
And here's the facts. And you're a Pan-Africanist, so it makes sense that you would say that within like the mission that you've chosen. And here's the facts. The facts is black women, only 6% of African Americans have a passport, and black women have more of a black women beat out black men by a couple of percentage points by passports. And so black women, the travel community for black women is very large. And the black travel community is not really gender divided like that. So there are more black women traveling than black men. That's number one. But number two, even outside of the racial, in the race, if you all can find a better deal with another race, by all means do that. There is not this black men are policing black women. You don't see black men jump, like you got women like Alfred Woodard. You got women that have been with white men for years, and black men don't say nothing because we're not sexually intimidated by white men. We're just not. But at some point, and even Kevin suggested that at some point the argument has to stop being about what somebody said and what you gonna do about it. Because what I'm telling you is these Z's have already really chosen, and they're not even talking to black women and black women. They're not. Yeah, Dynas is out of California. He knows. I'm in North Carolina. I see, and to be fair, I see black women with not black men too that aren't just busted. So I'm not gonna act like I don't. But I'm gonna tell you something. At some point, y'all are gonna have to, because I'm for an open market. Because I believe fundamentally, I'm gonna say this, I'm done. Black men need to earn black women, but black women need to earn black men too. And if you all are not gonna do what we say you need to do, then our power and our burden is to find somebody that will. And that's why I promoted intercultural dating. By the way, shout out to Charles Tyler, rest in peace. Because genetically, we can date, we can find other. Oh, well, there's certain non-ADOS women that they feel some type of way about black men. We're only 6% of the American population. We don't need a lot. We don't need all of the non-ADOS women. We only need a small fraction of the percentage in order to do what we need to do as far as what Calogenesis was talking about, creating families. That's all. So y'all think y'all can have this endless conversation? That is diluted. There is a clock. And we're in the fourth quarter. I'll back up for right now.
See, from what I see is that some of the issues you see that the black men have against their women in America, I try to see the other way around. The issues the women have with their men. And in Africa, the same thing is going on. Maybe most of the African women don't notice it. Their men, they reek of incompetence. They've left their communities completely undefended. At least the African Americans have the excuse that they don't control their country. But this idea of going after the women constantly saying, they are this, they are that, that is exactly the same manifestation you see in the African continent, where they expect women
Africans
to respect
control the laws. I mean, Kevin was an
control
African.
The laws, but
Kevin was an African American.
Let me finish the point I'm making.
We don't speak on those black women, though. So why are you doing that?
Can I finish the point? Because there's a thread there. There's a thread of men that have been disempowered. In Africa, the same thing. When you go to Africa, you'll be shocked if you draw the map of the actual black countries, how weak their defenses are. Even in Africa, you look at the North Africans, totally different posture. Then if you come to the African American community, the same thing, they disempower them there. You go to the Caribbean, Brazil, name it. The same pattern repeats themselves, and we say the women are the issue. They are having the children. They are doing their best to educate themselves. We need to be holding ourselves accountable and doing the right things by our entire group, because the failure of Africa is also reflected in the failure of the diaspora. This is why everywhere you go, black people are always at the bottom of the totem pole.
So, sir, you know what my answer to that is? Because that's a game, and I'm not playing with you. The answer is go get you a white man. Like I call it find another store. I will actually, I call it Keisha's list. We will actually get white men for you. That's my answer to that game. Then go like I'm not playing that
Why
game.
would you do that?
Hold on. This idea that I need to overthrow white supremacy and we need to rule the world before we get respect for our women. Because by the way, Hispanics don't got to do all of that. They've been absolutely conquered too, if we want to play that card. And yet they got literally almost the most feminine women. So I'm not playing that game with you. So if women want to say, hold on, because sir, at the end of the day, this is an individual case by case basis. That this is not this when people, because women do not get to bring in all of this crap. Like Arab women don't do that. They don't get to say, well, we're defenseless, so I'm gonna disrespect you, because there's certain laws in the Western world that ain't in the other worlds, by the way. So, but I can only speak to African American stuff. Like, because at the end, I get what you're saying. You're saying really only Ethiopian men got the right to really be heavy-handed with their women, because they're the only ones that were able really to stop the Italians for really coming through. They came as far as Egypt. So I get the game.
Ethiopia is also weak.
Well, at the end of the day, dude, even if let's say I give you all of that. So you telling me that a woman has a right to disrespect you personally, and if you say, why did you say that? Then you turn around and they give you this story, you gonna accept it.
Because you have to take, it's not for, men set the tone of all societies. We create the nations. We say women wear hijab, you wear hijab. We should stop making excuses and say, oh, it's the woman that has to. That is risks of weakness. If you ask me,
I'm not making excuses. I'm not making excuses.
Just now, you know what you just said? I shouldn't have to overthrow anything. What are you talking about?
Dude, I have my own money and my own shit. I'm telling, this is what the fuck
you are settling. And you wonder why they don't respect you.
No, women respect me because they're not going to be around me if they don't. See, this idea, hold on. And by the way, if black women disrespect other black men, they not going to be around me. Understand something. Protection and provision is not a right. It's a privilege, and it's finite. We can give it and dole it out to anybody we want. The problem that African American in particular men have is their unwillingness to do that. It is like, regardless of the current situation. Because let me tell you something. By that, let me take what you saying at face value. You got women in Afghanistan. Let me ask you this. Have you been in the United States? I don't know. Like, are you currently living in the United States?
No.
Okay. So my thing is, this is what I would say if a black woman was saying that to me. This is what I would say. I would say, do you believe that African American women enjoy do you believe you as with black women in the whole diaspora, do you think African American women have it the best as far as access to resources and stuff like that? Or is it other women that have it better that I don't know about this in the diaspora? That's the question to Dynast or whoever. Do you think with freedoms, potential, prosperity, do African Americans have it best in comparison to other black women in the diaspora?
As far as access to opportunities, absolutely.
Yeah, and I would argue if you compare black women to women of Eastern Europe across the board, and even in the world. So my point is, black women will say we're at the bottom in these countries, but see, African American women can't play that game because they're in the first world. And by the way, the first world, America doesn't exist without black men. And
Okay,
hold
let me ask
on,
you
time
this
I'm
now.
not finished. The wars that we fought, and also when you look at because most of the benefits black women get, they get as a way mechanism to remove benefits from us as a proxy thing. But even in the state, those are benefits that women didn't fight for. Those are benefits that basically black men fought and died for. Yes, there were women that did something, but as far as like what the heavy lifting stuff was, that was us. This idea that black men across the diaspora is in this position where we have to just accept nothing when it comes to basic human decency and respect. Because of that, I categorically refuse to do that. And I'm going to tell you right now, y'all playing that game. That's why SYSBM is thriving and growing at such a rapid rate. Because when you present that to a man is going to say, fuck you and fuck black people. I'm out. And you can't force them not to do that. So, dude, that's not going to work. You can say that, but dudes don't have to do it. That's like me. That's like a white man walking up to me saying, I'm white, you not. So if I call you a nigger, you just supposed to accept that shit.
See, the way I look at it is that even if I was in the Americas today and I was with an African American woman, no matter what they did, they will still understand that, okay, I'm doing my role as a man and I'm going to do my duty. Let me ask you this. What is the primary duty of a man?
The duty you talk about within the context of a relationship with a
human,
woman?
a human man. What is the primary duty of a man?
To do what's in his own best interest and the bill.
What is that? What is that?
I just said what that is. That's what they want to do. Why don't you give me the answer to the question?
Let me tell you what it is. The primary duty of a man is to protect the women, children, and their communities.
But what if he doesn't have?
That's where it starts and ends. Then the rest, icing on the cake.
If he don't have kids, so what? He's supposed to first. If he don't have kids, then what? Like, and by the way, dude, this
you
is
protect. If you
Hold
don't
on.
have kids.
So basically, your job is to throw your life away, sir.
Yes.
You're an of course, and that's where. And by the way,
what else is there in this life?
Well, that's your problem.
Tell me, is it Jordan boots?
Dude. So
this in the silver, this in the wheels. What else is there in this life?
Sir. Okay, let me answer your question. The reason why protection and provision is on the table because that is what you get for compliance with a man and getting on a man's program. If you're not on a man's program, you don't deserve protection and provision. So if a woman tells me I'm not protected, I'm gonna ask her, who's your authority figure? Who's the man? Is it your dad? Like, where is it? Where's the nearest dude? Is your dad your husband? And if they ask me, I don't know, I'm gonna be like, that's where your protection is. I don't know. You know, so you want to ask a woman, why am I not being protected, provided for? It's the women that act the most independent tend to be the women that are least protected. Interesting how that works. Now, what you're essentially talking about is a gynocracy, where men are basically worker bees and slaves to women. But in their mind, they think they're doing something. And you know what's crazy about that? Sir, you're African, and Africans don't believe that. African-American men give black women, more of a baseline than Africans do. Yet, hold on. Yes, we get the least amount of respect.
Okay. Hold on. We gotta hold on to that. We gotta go ahead, Sissy. Go ahead.
But that's not true. I'm sorry to interject. You know, we talk of Africa. You all know, everybody here, I'm sure, African people are just not this one monolith. So as well as African Americans. And to tell you the truth, I live in the UK. I've been to America several times. The stereotypical angry black woman that I'm shown on all these Hollywood nonsense, I've never met.
So where have you been?
Neither these
what city?
Pookie and Ray Ray selling on the corners and planting children all over the place. I've never met.
If you don't mind me asking, what cities have you been to?
I've been to Atlanta, New York. I've been to California.
All right, I won't have a rant on that, but I'll let you continue. Sorry. Thank you for asking that.
But they do exist, but I think they're not as many as people say. I only joined the show because of the treatment that I saw Andre getting. There's nothing wrong with being courteous to women. Okay, you may feel that black women don't deserve your courtesy, but in my experience, if you, the only place where I agree with Kevin Samuels, if you are a man who is about your business and you clearly articulate that vision for your life, for the family you want me to join, you being the head, I will follow you come rain or sunshine. Most women who have sense would do that. There's no excuses. It doesn't matter whether you have less education and she has more money. She has more money, so what?
So,
That's
Sissy, I
that.
have a question for you. So, if you believe that, and I agree with you saying with most women with sense. So, why do you think that black? Because this is out of black women's mouth talking about they have problems finding men. Why do you think that is?
The problem is to do with attitude, self-love.
Because remember, black women are 6% of the American population. There's a whole bunch of other
And the
men
night. Sometimes
other than black men to date.
I beg your pardon. Can you say that again,
Black
please?
women are only 6% of the population in the United States of America. So when black men are removed from the table, there's still plenty of other men that they can date if it's a values thing. That's the thing that nobody
No,
really
no.
talks about.
I didn't say it's a value. I said it's primarily an attitude problem.
So you're
And
saying that they
how
have an attitude problem and that's why they don't have the
at,
person they want?
at attitude, not in the sense of bad attitude, but how of their self-image, how they view themselves, their self-esteem, how they view themselves, their ego, everything. Because I think I put in a comment before. You find I've seen a lot of black American women who are married to African men and they submit. Good relationship, 20, 30 years of marriage going on. So which
And there's
proves to me,
black
can I
men and
just
there's
finish? Which
it,
which just proves to me that if they really want a man, they can sit down and submit when they want to. If
yeah.
they're serious about getting a man, they would get it. I don't care. I've seen enough sisters who are dark skinned, so called ugly, and they get a high value man. This this
Really?
nonsense, this nonsense being yes. Come
So
to
why
Africa.
so the
Come to
question
Africa.
so
Plenty handsome
Sissy,
men with
why
money
don't
who are rich.
they?
And if you see their wife at home, you think, wow, what did you see in
So
her? If she had gives them the respect, men are driven by respect. You can love a man all you want. If you don't
okay,
respect him,
but
he
like the thing
ain't gonna stay.
that's not the okay, I understand. Like we kind of addressed that. My question to you, because I already said that black women and the black people don't have enough passports across the board, but black women actually have more passports than black men by a couple of points. My question, and I'm speaking, understand the African conversation came up because now you wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, but my question is, why don't these women go get these men? Because it's not a knowledge issue that they exist. Why don't African American women making the money they make, even if we're talking about the 10% that do make like X amount of dollars, why don't they go and get the, like, for example, let me give you an example. Issa Rae. I mean, she's not ugly, but she's not a supermodel either, right? Issa
Mhm.
Rae was telling black African American women they need to get Asian men because they're both at the bottom of the sexual marketplace. She wrote this in her book. And Issa Rae is actually just got married to I don't believe he's African American, but he is black, a investment banker, and she's been dating him for like 5 or 6 years.
I
And
thought she was
I
gay.
believe and she's like ADOS and not ADOS. My point is that even if I give you what you're talking about, the argument is if women are trying to make it about men when all they got to do is go around it and go get what they want. Because understand, this conversation started in the United States with women in the talk show circuit talking about why they can't find a man. And you got dudes like me and Dynasty, we grew up with that. the talk show, both men talk show circuits of only women saying that. And when Shahrazad Ali, who is in the Pan-Africanist world, Nation Islam world, said similar things that you said, she got viciously attacked. When Iyanla Vanzant said similar things you said, they ran her off the television. Understand that women are a lot more violent with other women than they actually are with the men. Kevin was just a focal point. That's all that was. So people keep trying to make it about Kevin. I'm about outcomes.
It's not about
Exactly.
Kevin. It's not about Kevin at all. Kevin is only like a drop in the ocean in the discussion. This problem as that we're talking about. You have a lot of black men who are unstable as far as relationship are concerned. It's not just black women. One man who's got children, 20 children with 5, 6 women. It's across the board. It's people who are not at peace
I'm
with
childless.
themselves. It doesn't matter even if you don't have a child.
But what we keep
If a child in the black community is in trouble, would you walk away? Would you walk away just because
define
you don't have
trouble.
a child?
Define, you mean physically immediate danger?
Yes.
That's different than me talking about raising. So, like, I would do that with anybody, black or otherwise. That's called being a good citizen. That's different than you basically investing money to raise kids that basically you didn't have. Those are two different scenarios. And by the way, hold on, and let me say this. And by the way, I would actually be willing to do that. The reason why more childless black men are not willing to mentor young black men is because the women want to dictate the terms by which they're mentored. They want to say, you do what I tell you to do as far as teaching. Basically, they want us to be glorified babysitters.
How can the black woman do that? She ain't a man.
Because they're allowed, because the law, man, sissy, the laws empower. That's the difference between African America and you in the UK. So you know the laws empower. The laws are different. The laws empower women to do things. Let's be clear, and just taking out of the black community. The West in general uses women as a buffer class in order to control men because they know men are not as likely to run through their women as they are to challenge other men. So what they do is they amplify the power of women. Look, even with abortion, because you let
I'm very aware. I'm very aware
so
of
you know
the
the
power
answer
of
then.
of the power struggle.
So you said why are they have the ability? You know.
But there's a further. You cut me off before I could finish, because the other thing you have about high value black women and high value black men, just because you're settled and you have a paid up house and your little professorship or whatever education that you've got, most of them it's like, I'm high value. This is all. If it's money, all is money that you bring to the table, I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. A lot of these people are broken themselves and they feel they don't need to work on themselves and whatever issues they have because they're so-called high value. Enough broken people
This
out there.
idea of a high value black man is a myth because in America you can't be unstable. Like you keep saying unstable. You can't be an unstable black man in the United States of America and get to those levels because you'll be filtered out. So that's a myth. That's something that's promoted. Now with the women, it's different because your money is not where your value is. Men do not value women for their money. So you're equating things are not equal. Men do not benefit from a woman's money. Women benefit from a man's money. So a woman's value is in her ability to be a teammate and a helpmate. There are
men who are actively seeking such women. And
sure.
Yes. So because you don't do it, it doesn't mean they're not there.
Well, so you're saying there are men that are quote unquote that make money based on what Kevin's talking about, 6 figures and up, that are actively seeking a woman primarily for her income. That is what you're saying.
No. I said there are men who are not high value men who are seeking a woman who is stable and
yes, okay, that I absolutely agree with. But those women, but that's still on that woman to choose those dudes. That's a choice, and that's the problem. That's one of the things we talk about in the black community is women. See, in our community, we're talking about women choosing to do that. Nicki Minaj did that, even though she's Caribbean. They choose men that they can control. And then they codify those relationships with children. Then they talk about you settled. No, you didn't settle. You made a choice.
But Edward, why do they choose men they want to control though?
So do you believe that women are as intelligent as men, or do you believe that women are mentally inferior to men? I'm asking. Because it gets this why, like it's outside of their own logical control. I just gave you the answers to why they do it. What's the psychology behind it? And you say why, like they just are forced to make the decision.
I asked that, Edward, because I'm attracted to an alpha male, a man whom I can toss around. I wouldn't get wet. I'm sorry to be so, blunt.
Okay, so what does that? Hold on. So what does that have to do with the money aspect, though? Because you said, so basically, what you're saying is a woman that has money chooses a dude that's not that's less financially stable because he's a physical alpha. I call that currencies. I call that genetic and sexual currency, which I understand that. Here's the problem I have. Oh no. Okay, here's the Here's the problem I have with that. Here's the problem I have with that. The problem I have with that is women will then turn around and say, I settled, or they'll say that the society did them wrong. You chose sexual and genetic, because white women choose the economic aspects and then they try to cheat for the sexual and genetic aspects. That's the issue. So then we play this game. You can have your alpha. Like my thing is, because personally, if you're a woman and you've worked hard to get yourself to make 6 figures and be that, why wouldn't you then? Why do you need a man with money in the first place? Because isn't that what you made your own money for? So you can focus on trying to get the other currencies. Now here's the problem: if you're a female and you're not, hold on, and you're not, hold on, if you're not a
man works out.
But here's the thing: if you're if you're not an attractive woman, your money, or you're not a feminine woman, your money doesn't matter anyway. Now the dude will use you for your money and then cheat and do whatever he wants to do, but you're not going to really have a true relationship with a man like that, because even a dude that doesn't have as much money as another guy, if he's what I call, he's hitting it on the genetic currency and he's hitting it on the sexual currency, there's women that will still deal with him, especially in the West. And that's what women don't like to account for. What women like to say is, I'm tired of dealing with dusty dudes. What they don't say about the dusty dudes is they're sexually attracted. They're only dusty economically, but from a genetic and sexual standpoint, they like them. They're just upset that those dusty dudes don't feel the need to economically move forward because they can already get the women that they want.
But you see, Edward, what you're saying that the white women do in the West, Black women do that in Africa. A lot of African women will marry for money, even if she does not like or is attracted to the man or whatever, or doesn't, she's in love with him and the background. And then you find that they will cheat with the driver or cheat with the gardener,
Sure. But you're saying, so what are you saying it should be? So I get that, but my point is women can do whatever they want to do. I'm not saying it's white for white women to do it and then cheat later. What I'm saying, because they have their own problems with them getting liquidated of money. My issue is women tell in America, because you keep in mind I'm talking about America. You notice I keep saying that women in America will tell this story that I'm tired of slumming with dusty dudes, but you like them sexually. That's fine, but that is the trade-off.
Edward, I'm just going to end this on that. What I agree with Kevin Samuels is that man or woman, you need to take responsibility of what you bring into your bed and what you bring in your life. What my experience in life is not opposites attract, like attract like. If you keep running across dusties, or you keep running across wretched girls, look at yourself first. I've never dated any of these rubbish men that are stereotyped by Hollywood. I hear them from other people. In my family, you beat up a woman, the men in my family will deal with you. We
that happens in the Black community too. What are you talking about?
The family background you come from is more important than anything else, than money, than anything else.
The problem I have with what you're saying is and this is what people got
to
stop doing.
If you come from a generation of 4 single parents, and not through widowhood or whatever, and that's all you know. All you know is to be a mother.
Well,
You don't know how to be a wife.
the problem,
You've never seen anybody be a
the
wife.
problem is you are. I don't know where you're from, what country you're out of, but you're imposing that upon a situation. I'm specifically talking about how African Americans operate. Y'all got to, and y'all got to stop superimposing. You have to stop superimposing that on what we deal with.
Take responsibility for the women.
I think that from where,
like, it's because you're not even talking, but you're not even talking. No. What you're really trying to say is, if the women are out of pocket, the collective of black men need to just own that and fix them. I'm saying, hold on. I say,
they won't let anybody say it.
Dynast, I mean,
They are not getting anywhere.
I understand what Edward is
Yeah, we're not
saying.
getting anywhere.
I mean, you're playing with
Just
me.
going secular argument.
Black men to fix. It's not up to black men to fix, Edward. That's not what I mean. You can only fix yourself.
See, one thing I agree with Kevin Samuel. Hold on. Let me say one good thing I agree with Kevin Samuel for. Just let me say one positive thing about Kevin Samuel. Come on.
I want the women to talk, man. I want to hear the women.
You know,
go ahead.
okay.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen. What Edwards is trying to say, and you know, Sissy, I see you come from a background, a different culture. What the men in the West are going through, right? Majority of men in Africa and your culture not going through it. I'm hearing things go like tonight just saying about men protecting women, and then I'm hearing things like
30 years out of Africa, so I know what I'm saying.
Okay. I would say I was not born in Africa. Okay, so I know what I'm saying. I'm hearing things from Niger about men protecting, and he's going on, you know, till Ethiopia came up and war, and then I'm hearing about high valued man. The thing is this: the reason why so many Black American women, you know, talking about high valued men, and when you hear they demand it, it's like, if I don't get one, if I don't have one, I won't be able to respect this man, right? And then you're talking about protection. You know, the Black family value wasn't, family structure wasn't that broken down after slavery, you know, even during Jim Crow. And imagine yourself.
And not to interject, but Black families, more Black men and women were married at a higher rate.
It was like 80.
Like during Jim Crow,
right,
after slavery, than we are now.
Up until the 60s.
Right. So my point that I'm trying to make is this: during Jim Crow, right, a man and his family, wife and children walking, and a different nation, you know, comes out, slaps him in the face, and he wants to, but he can't defend himself because he's seen a cross being burnt. Okay? So does that mean, right? And they might abuse the kid, abuse the wife, whatever. Does that he can't protect himself, he can't even protect them. But when he went home, that woman was able to respect him still. Right? She was able to respect him. So is it that this man had to protect them before you know, she could give him that respect? Is it that the man has to be working 6 figures and up, you know, for this woman to respect this man? What does it take for us to respect men? What does it take for a Black woman to respect men and understand a man's ego, understand the oppression that the Black man has right now?
For the men not to be going at them as if they are the problem.
But no, we are becoming the major. No, we are becoming the major problem too, Niger. We have become the problem because you have the other nation, right? That's not going straight after the Black man in the West.
So
they're using us indirectly.
Exactly, and
right?
and
to get after our black men.
And I gotta go.
You are not accusing black women of that's co-opting into a system that oppresses the black man deliberately.
So let me say, yeah, like Nigel,
that's a serious accusation.
You have your right to. Oh my God, you have your right to believe what you want to believe. I'm gonna tell you right now. I've been like a consumer of this content. I've been around this content for a long time. There's African American men have died for this content. Charles Tyler, basically Charles Tyler is one of them. David Carroll is another one. Kevin Samuels has been added to that list, and there are others. Understand, all y'all need to know is this, because quite frankly, I really don't like that there's 9, African Americans. I don't talk on other people's countries as if I'm there. I really don't. And I say that's goofy for any African American to do that. And I've checked African Americans for saying goofy stuff about diaspora people, like hard G-check, men and women. But I'll say this. This is what you all need to know. African American men are not playing. They're not. Like whether they say so, like I'll give you an example. There's a guy, I'm not gonna put him out there, but he has a channel, and he has women on there, men on there, but it's in our space, and he's a teacher. He's with a Afro-Brazilian. She don't even speak English. She's in the United States. She speaks Portuguese. He knows Portuguese. Portuguese, y'all know, it's a hard language to learn. And you know how the reputation of Americans across the board not liking to learn other languages. The thing is, the dudes that actually have the genetic currency, the economic currency, in the top 20, 30%, they're not playing. The Z's are not playing. And people can have whatever conversation you want to have, but people are going to have conversations with each other about what needs to be done. The biggest tragedy of Kevin passing is that Kevin allowed this conversation to be focused in a way that is not often done. And he was willing to take the arrows for that conversation to be had. There's a lot of women channels that exist today that would not exist because those women were afraid, because they rightly so understood that women would attack them and get real violent with them. This is why you don't see a lot of female channels actually advocating for certain things like this, because it's not worth the headache. It's not worth the cost of femininity. So that's unfortunate that, Kevin has passed. But it's really unfortunate ultimately for the women. Because Dynast will tell you, the men are having these conversations, and whether the women hear them or not, that's just because they're on YouTube. The men are having these conversations. The Z's see what's going on. Everybody sees what's going on. And you have some dudes, it's going to be like the extras and stuff that's on that forever. You need to die for women stuff. But if there's no reciprocation when it comes to black relationships, there's nothing. I'm going to leave with a solution. If you all want a solution, here's what it is. What black men are essentially asking of black women, I'm talking about in America, is a social contract. What that social contract is, we can discuss it. There is currently no social contract in the black community amongst black men and black women. If there is no, if there's not going to be, without a social contract, there is no community. And dudes, all that autopilot stuff where dudes are just supposed to die for women and all of that. I'm sorry, like people are not hearing that at all. They're gonna look at you like you're retarded. Like Sissy, you said
example of
hold on. Sissy, you said I appreciate you answering my questions, but you said you've been to Atlanta and you've been to New York. I know a dude that says he only has sex with single mothers in Atlanta because that's the only way he knows that's a woman. That's how crazy it is. And Prince is, Dynast is in Atlanta. Kevin was, you think he wasn't playing?
It ain't. Sissy, listen.
No, I know. I'm only laughing.
Hold on, but Sissy,
I know. She's not laughing because she disagrees. It's crazy.
No, but Sissy, listen. Let me tell you something. So me, lady I'm talking to and her mother.
I agree. I know the low-down situation and all these trans people.
But what I'm talking about, the fact that that's even a thing, like we're not even talk about the hair. It's in Atlanta. Atlanta is actually one of the gynocratic capitals. So when you say you're in Atlanta,
Edward, if I can interject real quick,
yeah.
Sissy, Atlanta is like the Sodom and Gomorrah capital of black people on the planet.
I've been in
I don't like. I live here. I have my house here. But I just, oh God, I will love to get the hell out of
And
here.
a lot of content creators are in Atlanta. So, and there's a lot of content creators are in Philly, and it's a couple in New York. So when you say you've been to these places, I get it as a tourist. Understand we grew up here. Understand this is what we know. Understand. Hold on. Last thing. I'm not trying to dismiss you. You have a problem. I'm just saying. Understand that we have dudes in our space that are 60 years old that are older than Kevin. There's black men that are married to black women that have nothing but daughters, and they're still married and happy, but they're on here because they see how the change is happening. So the thing is this. The guys are having a conversation. You all are just allowed to listen to it because we don't have to bring it to YouTube. We're going to do what we're going to do. It's up to y'all as to what y'all going to do. That's really what I'm saying. And I hope the best. So I'll leave it at that.
So you didn't mention, can I just say something quick? Can I say something quickly? He didn't, can I say something? See, you didn't say anything about what is in your social contract because anybody can just say a word like that. And one thing I want to say about Kevin Samuel was
that's a different video.
Yeah, you can just add one. Maybe somebody have an idea what you're talking about. One thing I can say about Kevin Samuel is that if you want to talk about social contracts, let me say something. One thing you can say about social contracts is that Kevin Samuel, one of the things he said in one of his videos was that if you're a high value woman and you want to seek a partner, you shouldn't necessarily seek a partner in a very thin pool. You want to go back and seek a partner in a wider pool. Let's put it that way. And if you have a social contract that addresses the misalignment between women's expectations and that is something positive. You see what I mean? You can't just say words and you don't tie them to
I
reality.
didn't. No. I didn't just say words. Understand something. I'm not Jesus. I'm not Martin Luther King. Okay.
No, you're American.
Hold on.
You should know better.
Nigel. If you want to have a video, I'm gonna put my email in the link. If you in the private chat, if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me, I'm small, but I got 5,500 subscribers. We can have a conversation about a social contract. It's not just words. So you want to say that we're gonna we're gonna put that up and we'll see if I get an email for you.
Something to you before you go. I'm not saying to argue. I agree with a lot of the stuff that you've said. The social contract. Yes, you're right. That means that I think it's something that should be in our DNA, and I think it's there somewhere.
Yeah. You guys, I don't want to stay too long.
I think in the end, what we are all arguing about here is the way we talk about each other. That is what it is. It's not because we did it. We don't know. Maybe there are some issues here and there. It's the way we talk about each other. We need to. That guy really was talking about African American women as if they are like separate from him. If you are all gonna come to me, and you can't do that. They are your family. They are your people. They're not outside.
Tonight, I just feel like you're so disconnected. I don't know if you're trolling or being disingenuous, but it's just you're not making sense tonight.
Then ask pertinent questions. If you want to make sense, don't just say I'm not making sense. That's what I hear in the charts. When somebody doesn't want to address the point, they say you're not making sense. What point are you against?
We've addressed your point too, Nigel. If a woman calls in the Kevin Samuel show and she has unrealistic expectations and she was rude about it when Kevin Samuels was calm and told her that this is what's going to happen, this is going to be more than likely going to be the outcome, these are the facts, these are the numbers.
I remember that.
He then would respond in a certain type of way and match her energy. Okay. Prime example. Women. Okay, here we go. All these women will call on the Kevin show and say they want a 6-figure man. The percentage of men who make 6 figures is like maybe 1 or 2%. So he would tell them, like, look, more than likely you're gonna have to settle for a guy that makes 40 or 50,000. These women will get irate, and then Kevin Samuel will have to say what he have to say and match their energy. I mean, tonight.
I just said, if you are listening to me before you just started disagree with me, that is exactly the kind of example I gave that Kevin Samuel did very well. I just said it just now. That is exactly what he did it very well. The lady listened to him throughout from the beginning to the end, the lady was following exactly what he was saying because it was cogent then. When I said it, that's why I said that's what he could have done. And I actually said, when this guy mentioned social contract, that's the kind of stuff you want to put into the system so that it will take into account that misalignment.
That's another show, bro. We're not talking about.
I get that.
On social contracts. That's a whole nother show. Like, we're not going in on the social contract. Like, that's another show.
I get that one. I get your point there. But when I agree with you, there's no need to be putting your hand on your head and saying, I don't agree with you.
Let Mika talk. Mika's been waiting. Mika's in Zambia. Let Mika talk. Go ahead, Mika.
Oh my God, Dinas. Okay, so to Niger and City, I see some of the points that you're saying. I don't know, City, if you're African as well. Your name looks like you're African. So obviously our social context is maybe different from the American context. And to be fair, there's a lot of FBAs in the chat that might feel like we're imposing our sort of worldview and approach on them, which is not relevant to their cultural or social context. So I want to say that I'm ignorant about American culture, but what I've observed between the dynamics between Black American men and Black American women, I think for me it's kind of sad. Like it does make me sad because all the Black American women I've met honestly have been amazing. Like they've been really outstanding. Even in college, they were just really up there, very beautiful, very, I don't know. So I don't, when I hear these stereotypes that are being perpetuated, I don't know I don't understand it. You know what I mean? And I remember the African boys were fighting over these Black American girls, and that was in Australia. So all these things that they are unmarried and they're single mothers, and I just, especially because in Africa we don't have that per se. We don't have it as a pandemic of
Mika,
like
that's
single
not
mothers.
true. That's not true, Mika. I'm from Zimbabwe
How?
next door.
Where? Okay,
I
which
know
part of
very
Africa
well.
are you coming from?
Next door, Zimbabwe. I know very well.
So you guys
Plenty
have
of
a
single mothers.
pandemic of single.
This thing. Yes, teenage pregnancy in Africa is endemic.
Maybe say Zimbabwe.
Not Zimbabwe and Zambia as well. Kids fall pregnant when they're teenagers. It's not a new thing. And the only thing is that in Africa we hide such things well. People take
How
you
is
to
it
the.
hidden? Where are the stats? Like I need statistics. How is it hidden?
It's
Because
hidden in the sex
I work in the NGO industry. Like I'm in the humanitarian
Okay,
business. So I know about child marriage.
let me
Well,
tell
hang
you.
on.
Let me tell you
I
how
don't
it's hidden.
understand why you're interjecting. I haven't yet finished what I'm saying.
You asked me a question, or was it
No,
rhetorical?
okay, fine. Respond. Let's see.
No, you can finish talking. Maybe it was rhetorical. I thought you asked me a question. You said, "How is it
Okay,
hidden?"
so I was
So I was only
saying
gonna answer.
that clearly because I've never been to America, so I'm seeing these projections about Black women that doesn't really match the reality of the women that I've met, right? So we're talking about Kevin Samuels. I think some of what he had to say, especially given the context of feminism and so on, was valid. I'm just not sure about his delivery, and I think sometimes it was very extreme. Like there's one video I watched where he was telling a woman, he gave a woman a scenario that if she had a child and the child reported sexual abuse, what would she do? And she said she would protect her child. And he basically shamed her for saying that. You know, it was his narrative was like protect the man.
I gotta watch his video. I gotta watch his video. I gotta watch his video.
I'll send it to you, Dynasty. I'll send it to you. So his narrative was that protect men at all costs, and it's like I feel like it's this fear-driven message. Like if you don't do this at all costs, you won't get married. You won't. So I feel like he's telling Black women that reduce your self-esteem, reduce your standards. Otherwise, you'll be alone. And then ironically,
But Mika,
No,
that
Mika,
happens
hold
in
on. Let me
Africa.
interject. No,
They
Mika,
protect the
again.
man.
Sissy, hold on, Sissy, again. No, Mika, once again, these women will call into the show. I want a six-figure man. Kevin Samuels will stop them. Okay. Men who make six figures, maybe 1, 2, or 2% of the population. Then he'll get in. What's your dress size? What's this? What's that? So you're 290 pounds. You have 3 kids by 5 different baby daddies, and you want a six-figure man. The chances of that happening is slim to none, which is just the truth, Mika. It's the truth.
Okay, hang on, Dinah. So how about fine, you say what you say, but how about we redefine what the high value man is? Because why are women looking for the narcissist that's making 6 figures, that's going to abuse you, that's going to be a shitty father anyway, he's never going to be home, he's going to be screwing all these chicks according to Kevin Samuel's own definition? Why is that the standard to aspire to for women? So that whole definition of what you should look for in a man is wrong. You should look at a man for his character. That's what we're saying. women, if that's ultimately what's going to build marriages in your community.
Mika, hold on, Mika. Maybe you should do a show explaining this to women.
Okay, fine. So I'm saying the whole definition of what's a high value man, what's a high value woman, the woman that's got the big ass and whatever. And then he died, with, I guess, the woman that he thought was high value. So I just feel like the whole mindset has to change about male and female relationships. Because what I'm concerned about is that feminism was a reaction to apparently patriarchy and suppression and oppression, right? Feminism came about. But now the Red Pill movement is doing the same thing because they're reacting to feminism. And this is what True Niger is saying, is why are these men being reactive? You see? Why are they being reactive? Why are they fighting these women? Why are they battling these women? Clearly, there's a dysfunction in society. And if men claim to take the lead...
Mika. No, Mika, this is what's going on. Men are finally speaking up. Like, literally, you will have women who will shame men for saying, you know what? You're 6 feet, you're 6 feet, you're 5'3", 290 pounds. You got 5 kids by 7 different men. I'm good. You got women who will literally shame these men for having a certain standard that they want, that they have for women. And you have and men will just be quiet and not say nothing. So now you have men saying, look, this is my standard. This is what I want. This is the type of woman I want. I'm not dating women with children. I'm not dating single mothers. I prefer not to date big women. I prefer not to date these type of women. And these women are irate.
That's not new.
And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. You should have your standards by all means. I'm just saying that we don't want this narcissistic movement.
Right. And you're right. That's fine to have a standard of what you want, because women are very vocal about what they want. But when men start to be vocal about, listen, this is what I want in a woman, all of a sudden, and here we go, black women expected to take anything. And that was the problem. Like, look, Pookie and Ray Ray, they ran through it already. Pookie and Ray Ray, they planted their seed all up in there already. It had kids. Man, Dynast, man, you better marry this sister. You better marry this sister, Dynast. I'm dead serious.
Oh, come on, man. I'm not sure that is what is going on, Dynast. Come on.
Exactly. Okay, Dynast. Okay, no, Dynast. I have one question for you, Dynast.
Hold on, Meek. I'm not finished. Then you say, no, I'm good. Oh, you gay. You this.
Oh, come on.
No, Dynast. I have one
Most women, once they've had children, know that their value has come down. Most women know that.
Well, Tunaj, I want you to repeat what you said. I want you to repeat it very slow. Because no, these women in America, no, repeat what you just
Most
said.
Most women know once they've had children, their value has come down. They know that instinctively.
Tunaj, I want you to repeat that again, because literally there are women on these platforms that they don't understand that. And Kevin Samuels told them that. Like, listen, once you reach a certain age, once you have children, your value's reduced. These women that is the reason why these women hate Kevin Samuels, for telling them what you just said.
They can't lie about that. Any woman knows that. If you cannot know that, that is like scary. Ask these women here, they know that. If you've had a child, they know that their value has come down in the market.
I'm sorry.
You know that. If you're in denial, you're like, come on. If I've had a child, my value has come down before in front of other women too. They will think twice. Let's face it.
Tunaj, you don't understand. Black American women don't believe that, Tunaj.
I don't know why people pretend. This is exactly how the life works. You can't have children with multiple men and think your value is still high.
See, now I see. Hold on, I'm almost done. Tunaj, and that's the disconnect. These sisters do not believe that. And if you tell them that nigga, you gay, this, you don't care about the black community.
Dynast, I have a question for you. Dynast, I have a question for you. So now that we've identified these problems, right, these dynamics and imbalances, what's the solution, and what do you feel black women are supposed to do about it?
You know what? So listen, Kevin Samuels says something key. He said, "Won't you go and marry your baby daddy?"
I've seen
You
him
already
do a
got to
very
start
good
about
job
to
of
go
that.
there. And listen, these women still got irate because here in America, a lot of these women are told that listen, you can have 6 kids by 8 different men, you can do all that other girl, you still gold, you still golden, you still this, you
Dynasty.
still that, you can still get any
Dynasty.
man you want to.
Who's getting these women pregnant though? Who's knocking up these girls? Who's
No,
getting them pregnant?
but I'm saying the solution is go and marry one of your baby daddies.
So the solution is marriage, which is a social contract that what's his name? Edward was talking about, right? The solution is marriage. Because my
Right.
thing is Kevin Samuels was saying, telling black men don't marry single women, right? But at the same time, exercise your what he used to say, what exercise your options and cheat as much as you can. So he's creating his philosophy is creating single mothers, right? So you can't have these double standards. If you guys are saying you're going to practice marriage, you also have to practice celibacy. You have to also practice sex, not practice sex outside of marriage, because that's what's creating the social problems that you have, which is the single mothers, the unwed mothers, and the fathers fathering so many kids all
Don't
over the
get me
place.
started on polygamy, because they have gay marriage, but they won't have polygamy in the world. Maybe that's what men should be
Brother,
fighting
now
for. Maybe
don't
they
do
should have
polygamy.
polygamy.
They
Polygamy.
they have
one man and one
polygamy in
wife
Salt
now.
Lake City. They have polygamy in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Brother,
They
we
have
don't need polygamy.
polygamy.
We
Of
just
course, we
need
need it. We
a
have
man
gay
and one
marriage.
wife. Oh, we
There's no
don't need
reason
it.
why man can have multiple wives, and if women like, they can have multiple men.
There's
See,
no
the
reason
point
why
is,
people
you
want
have
to
gay marriage. I don't understand how you can have gay marriage,
just being
transsexual
poverty
marriage,
in
but you can't
Africa.
have
HIV and
polygamy. I don't get it.
no, we don't need polygamy, HIV and poverty. We don't need that.
You
They
can
have
They
have
just need
polygamy
transsexual
in
one.
marriage.
Utah. They have polygamy in America.
And it's a couch.
Men should argue for that, because that's what Kevin Samuel is
It's
doing by saying the
couch
men
like
should go around sleeping
polygamy.
around with me, because high value men need to have high women that have access to them. How do you think the women can have access to those high achieving men if there is no system for providing for it? We provide for gays to have this thing. I better watch what I say. We provide for transsexuals to have the same thing. Why can women not have access to high value men? I don't even get it.
High
The
value
logic is
man.
just flawed.
It's just
Yeah,
rubbish. Even this high value man you people are talking about, a man who's earning
rich
6
men, in
figures.
other words, successful men.
Which
Let's put
one?
it that way.
And even at the end of the day, those men, like I said, they're dysfunctional. Those same wealthy men. Look at Will Smith. He's a high value man. Have you seen the entanglement that he's in? So this high value man is just one men with character, men who are responsible, men who are patient, men who are kind. Women want to be loved and men want to be respected. But even
Diners,
the
would you like
Bible
to
says,
have the
for a
option to
woman
have
to
more than
submit,
one wife?
listen, for a woman to submit, she
Ask
needs to feel
diners whether you
valued.
would like to have the option.
You,
Tell
Niger,
me about it.
listen, for a
Would you
would to
like
submit, she needs to
Would you
feel
like the
Would you
valued.
option
like
to have more
polygamy?
than one woman at a
For
time?
what? He doesn't need that.
If he's
He does,
successful,
Dinah,
he
can you
does more
answer,
good,
please?
because more he
No,
is able to
it's
protect more
toxic.
children and protect more women.
It's toxic.
How is it toxic? You want to go with a loser that cannot even earn a living?
No,
Is that
those
what you
kids that are
prefer?
born in polygamy, they're just as good as fatherless children. The father can't give
I
them the
don't know.
emotional attention
I
they
don't
need.
see that in
They're just the
Africa, all
same
over
as
the
fatherless.
place.
You can know they're just the same as most polygamists don't even want to do that because they're stressed. They live very short lives. They've got
See,
high blood
all I'm
pressure. But
saying is that if you can allow
they're
gay
always
marriage,
bickering.
you can allow everything else under the sun. As a matter of fact, woman and woman can have children. I don't understand how is it that we draw the line somewhere at polygamy, something that our forefathers
No.
have been practicing before now. I
Children
don't
just
get
need
that
a
logic.
mother and a father. That is all. They need a mother and a father. So their
After they
culture
take
needs
us to
marriage
slavery,
and they
they
need to
continue.
practice celibacy
And as a
before
matter
they,
of fact,
until they
most
get
of the
married.
Islamic world practice it. So it's also seen
And
being practiced
Islamic
around
world
the
is
world.
dysfunctional. How many things do Islamic world practice? Even FMG they practice. Even in Africa, Islamic world is dysfunctional.
Yes.
See, if you want to resolve
Look at Boko
if you
Haram.
want to resolve the
It's also bad.
misalignment, when we
In
talk about
Islam.
social contract, this should be part of the argument, because if you want to resolve the misalignment, these women want access to high value men, like they argue. But right now, you can't have access to them because it's a very thin pool. But
Which high value men? Which
up
ones are you saying?
the rich men now, you know the rich men.
Right. Let me. Okay. So
Can I
again.
just say
Okay. But
something?
okay. Let
Then
me
then
interject.
I
So
drop
what?
off.
So once again, these women, 99.99% of them, when they called it the Kevin Samuel show, they wanted a man that makes 6 figures. That's like 2% of the population. So they're gonna have to practice polygamy if that's what they want, because there's not enough men to go around.
Exactly. And then at the same time, they will say no. That is the contradiction in the whole process. If you want access to them, then open up the system so that the men, you can have access to the men.
Because
You can't have
Dinah,
this
Dinah,
tension you have on both
because
sides.
women,
You want access to them, and when they tell you to go back to the poorer guy, you don't like it. Then when they say open up polygamy so you have access to the rich men, you don't like it. That's what is creating this tension, and both sides are just arguing against each other. You can't
Yes,
eat
and
your cake and have it.
Dinah,
no, that's the
Dinah,
thing. I think both
no,
sides are delusional in some ways, and they all have double standards. They don't want to understand each other. The men don't want to understand the women. The women don't want to understand the man. They all want to be right, and they are all emotional. That's what me I
that,
think. So, like I said, red pill is reacting to feminism, and it's not a solution. It's just as toxic as feminism. All of it is toxic. Get back to just simple principles. Men should value and love women, and women should respect and submit to men. That's all. And you should get married. Don't practice sex before marriage. Don't start having baby. Don't practice abortion and those things. This is
And
why
you
there's
say
so
we
much
are being
toxicity.
unrealistic. Don't practice sex before marriage.
Yeah,
I
but
love that one.
but Mika, see, the thing is, what you're saying, like Mika, right now, if you were to say what you were saying, do you know how many women will attack you?
For what?
of course they will attack
For
you
making sense,
because
Like, what's
making
wrong with
sense.
for making
virginity? In
sense.
America, you people don't believe in women chastity and virginity. You people don't believe in that or what?
No, they will attack
Not
you.
there, even not even in the church.
That
How
argument
is it,
has been lost a
Niger,
long
how is
time
it not
ago.
realistic? Isn't it that in Africa they used to do if you lose your virginity before you get married, they stone you? So how is it not realistic?
Oh, yeah,
But
what
that's
you
not
just said
It's
is
happening
been
top.
now.
lost a long time
What you
ago.
just said is top. That's gone, Mika. See, I
Yeah,
think that's the
gone
issue.
long time.
Since
It can't
you're
come
not
back.
here in America, that all that is gone. But guys, listen, I'm about to close out. We gotta go. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Research Crew. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Peace.
Thank you.
Dinah,
Bye
wrap us
bye.
up.